This is Just the Facts with J.J.J, where listeners like you discuss the issues affecting our city with Pulitzer Prize-winning...
Two-time
Pulitzer Prize-winning former publisher of the Daily Bugle...
Hey, plug the book!
And as always, if you order Mr. Jameson's book, Spider-Man, Threat or Menace, within 24 hours of our broadcast, you'll get an autographed copy at no extra charge.
No personalizations, don't ask, not gonna get it.
Welcome to Just the Facts with J. Jonah Jameson, alerting you to the threats you don't even know about. Let's dive right into the calls. Speak.
Okay, so not for nothing, you gotta give Spider-Man respect for taking down Wilson Fisk, right? I mean, one less mob boss is good for everybody.
Is that right? Tell me, are you a police officer? Prosecutor? Maybe an award-winning reporter with decades on the job like me?
No, I'm a plumber.
Oh, good. Then fix my toilet and shut up! Let me explain something to you about crime bosses. Soon as one goes down, every punk with a gun, a tracksuit, and a drawer full of gold chains decides he's the next godfather. We're gonna have a gang war in the streets, but does that whip-headed moron give a damn? Of course not. He got on TV. That's what counts.
Yeah, well, I can get copper pipe without paying kickbacks now. So until that gang war starts, I'm on the webhead side.
And you'll be singing a different tune when 3 new mobs are lining up to charge you triple for that same pipe. Or just break your legs. Goodbye! My loyal listeners, brushheads they call themselves, though I've never quite understood why, will remember my warnings about the downright Orwellian crime monitoring system the city was installing. Well, it's not operating. Why, you ask? Because someone came to their senses and realized they'd be violating civil liberties? Wrong! Because those incompetent bureaucrats built a network that crashes more often than a wino driving a bumper car. So your tax dollars got wasted, and there's nothing to show for it. Which is about as close as you get to a happy ending in the real world, kids. And now for listener emails. May from Queens writes, "You're so full of anger and I wish you'd get help managing it. It's terrible for your health." Now I know she speaks from a place of concern, but this is a common misconception that I have to correct. I'm not full of anger. I'm full of love. I call out injustice, corruption, and crimes against humanity because I adore this city, and I want it to be better. What you hear in my voice, it's love. Nothing but love! Unbelievable. I understand we have another low-information caller who thinks we're better off thanks to Spider-Man. Let's see if I can set her straight. You're on with J. Jonah Jameson.
I just want to say that I've never seen Manhattan so safe and peaceful. Compare what it was like when Spider-Man first showed up to now.
Okay, fair enough, I will. Then we had police and firefighters doing a wonderful job. There was crime, sure, but nothing they couldn't handle. Of course, we do have things now we didn't have then. Maniacs who shoot electricity out of their eyes, walking piles of sand, Nazis made of bees!
Didn't Spider-Man put all those guys in jail?
You're missing the point. They didn't exist before he came along. At best, he attracts them. But I've often wondered if they're in cahoots.
Wow, I've never actually heard anyone say cahoots before. Look, all I'm saying is, I'd hate to imagine what would have happened if all those guys showed up and Spider-Man wasn't here.
Another lost cause. Goodbye. You might have heard about the robbery at Roseman's auction house. What you probably didn't hear, but my sources confirm, is that the perpetrators were wearing masks. Horrible, demonic faces. Yet another example of the explosion in mass criminals since Spider-Man came on the scene. Let's hear your thoughts. You're on with J. Jonah Jameson.
Yeah, I see your point, but Spider-Man stopped those guys today. Saying he's like them because he wears a mask isn't fair. It's like prejudiced.
Wrong. Here's a little lesson in the English language, my friend. Prejudice means to prejudge someone before you know anything about them. I know all I need to about Spider-Man. He runs around causing chaos, wearing a mask so he doesn't have to answer for his shenanigans, and a flashy costume so he gets attention to feed his gigantic, insatiable ego. Now, if I'm a mentally unstable person and I see him getting all this coverage, what am I going to do? It's called copycat behavior, people, and it's ruining New York. Folks, I have to once again defend myself against the spurious claims from McDonald Mac Gargan, aka the Scorpion. Yes, as I fully disclosed, I bankrolled the experiment that gave him superior strength, speed, and that unsightly cyborg tail. The idea was to create an anti-Spider-Man who is not a threat and stops menaces. I had no idea he was crazy. Do you think his resume said psycho with a poisoning fetish? His lawsuit is a transparent attempt to reduce his sentence at the raft by placing the blame for his deeds on me. And that is one package J. Jonah Jameson refuses. I've always been about the truth. When I was a reporter and a newspaper publisher, I printed the truth. And now as a broadcaster, I speak it. Sometimes it hurts, but it's my responsibility to bring it to you. And the truth is, the city is not quiet. It is not peaceful. It is a disaster waiting to happen. Threats roiling under the surface like a hungry shark just beneath the waterline. Don't let Spider-Man fool you. You are not safe. None of us are. Now, a lot of people ask me what I think of Mayor Osborn, but what matters is what you think. Let's ask our first caller. You're on with J. Jonah Jameson.
Hi, I think Mayor Osborn's doing a terrific job. He's cleaned the city up and expanded the economy.
With all due respect to the office of mayor, the police cleaned up the city, and entrepreneurs boosted the economy. I do approve of many of the mayor's initiatives, like cracking down on quality-of-life crimes and reducing red tape. But I think he takes credit for a lot of things other people do. He's ambitious, which is not a bad thing. But I always say, be careful of people with agendas. We used to have a vigilant press to keep politicians honest, but it's a shadow of its former self. Now all you've really got is me. Let's discuss the costume lunatic who just literally destroyed a bank. Wait, you think I'm talking about Herman Schultz? Oh no, I meant Spider-Man. Look, Schultz is a career criminal, obviously disturbed. I mean, he calls himself the Shocker, so I don't expect him to act like a sane person. But Spider-Man claims to be a hero. Well, tell that to the bank employees who are out of a job. The customers who had irreplaceable family heirlooms in the safe deposit boxes. Couldn't he have waited until Schultz was, I don't know, outside to start the fight? Of course, then he would have probably wrecked several people's cars, because Spider-Man views our city as his playground and your property as his toys. And he just loves smashing his toys together. Friends, I've just received an update on Adrian Toombs, a.k.a. the Vulture. Apparently, this winged criminal has fallen ill with cancer, and he's been moved to the Raft's infirmary for treatment, which will undoubtedly cost a fortune in public funds. Now, let me ask you, why do we even have an infirmary at the Raft? It's a supermax prison, full of maniacs. If they get sick, let nature take its course. Now, I realize that's harsh, but so is my tax bill. Now, how often do I say Spider-Man should let the police handle crime? At least 6 times a day, and that's on my day off. And for once, that is exactly what happened. When Officer Jefferson Davis stopped a truck full of armed criminals from mowing down innocent bystanders. What about Spider-Man, you ask? Where was the city's self-styled champion? Oh, he's the one who started this chase, right out of an 80s action movie. But it took a real hero to finish it. Thank God Officer Davis was on the scene, and that he saved all those lives in spite of Spider-Man's interference. Jefferson Davis, you have earned the coveted J. Jonah Jameson nod of respect. It's all over the news. Another battle between Spider-Man and these demon-masked gunmen threatening the lives of New Yorkers. I understand our next caller lives in the area. You're on with J. Jonah Jameson.
Yeah, the thing is, it all happened in a shipyard that's been closed for years. There weren't any innocent people in danger.
Oh, is that your expert opinion? Well, let me tell you what I've learned from sources I developed in my award-winning journalism career. That shipyard was a front for Wilson Fisk. He's been using it to smuggle guns, grenades, military-grade ordnance.
Oh, that explains a lot.
Ah, the truth bomb strikes. But wait, here's a 50-megaton payload of fact. While Spider-Man tried to grab the glory for himself, chasing one truck, another vehicle got away with an arsenal of deadly, illegal weapons. Fisk, for all his faults, would never have let them be used in this city. But these demons, either they're some kind of fanatical cult, or they just don't care. Anybody feel like they're in danger now? A helicopter fight, trailing a crane in the air above our teeming streets, on which it could have crashed at any moment in a blazing rotor-chopping fireball of doom. Still think the webhead's protecting people like you, caller?
Well, he stopped them, and he made sure the helicopter didn't land on anyone. So, it seems to me he did the right thing.
Right thing? The right thing would be to call the professionals. My son serves proudly in the Air Force. He's logged thousands of hours of flight time and years of training in protecting our homeland. But he's not good enough?
Well, of course he is, but he wasn't there. Spider-Man was.
Because that's how he wanted it! God forbid he share the spotlight with anyone! That's it. I'm done pointing out the obvious. Let's go to commercials. I need a double aspirin with an antacid chaser! Now! Today is a day for somber reflection, for mourning and honoring fallen heroes like Jefferson Davis. But it's also a day to vow never again. It stops here. Some people say I blame everything on Spider-Man. Well, I don't blame him for the bombing. That cowardly act is squarely the responsibility of whoever committed it. But if we're going to keep New York safe, we can no longer tolerate the kind of lawlessness Spider-Man and his ilk represent. This is our city. By God, we're going to take it back. Friends, today we have a very special caller, breaking important news right here, because where else? Mayor Osborn, thanks for calling in.
No, thank you, Jonah. When you were publishing the Bugle, you were always fair to me. Tough, sure, but fair.
Well, that's my job, Mr. Mayor. All I have is my integrity, and I won't compromise it for anyone. Now, what's this crucial breaking news you're revealing for the first time anywhere on my show?
Well, after the brutal, cowardly City Hall bombing that almost claimed my life, it's clear our understaffed police department needs help. And I want to reassure the people of New York that I am providing it.
Aha! I said it! You all heard me say we needed this. Are you using my idea of bringing in cops from Lake Placid?
Ah, no, though that was a fine idea. No, this would be a security contractor, much like the ones our military uses to assist our troops overseas. I can't name it until the contracts are signed, but their qualifications are impeccable.
Well, that sounds terrific, Mr. Mayor. Though, of course, I'll have to reserve my tough but fair final judgment until I have all the facts.
I'd expect nothing less. And let me stress, this is in no way replacing our brave officers of the law, just augmenting them in a way that cuts through the red tape and gets results.
And results are what we want. You know, I'm glad you're here, so I can share my theory on how Spider-Man may well be working with the demons.
And a fascinating theory it is, I'm sure. But my doctors are advising me to get some rest now, so if you don't mind.
Oh, of course. Thank you for calling in, Mr. Mayor. My lines are open for you anytime. Jared, did you hear? Tough but fair! That's our new slogan. I don't care who else is using it. Don't care. Breaking news just in. My sources tell me the police are now looking at the demons as the primary suspects in the City Hall bombing. If that is in fact the case, I retract what I said about Spider-Man not being to blame. He would be, at the very least, partially responsible. Because the reckless manner in which Wilson Fisk was brought down directly created the void the demons poured into, like the poison they are. Actions have consequences, my friends. And that's something Spider-Man has has never understood.
I have to tell you, Triple J, I used to think you were exaggerating the danger to the city, but after the City Hall bombing, I gotta admit, you were right.
A lot of people have been telling me that, congratulating me, but I don't want congratulations. I would have loved to have been wrong, or better yet, for those in a position of power to have listened to me and done something. But they didn't, and I'm not sure they'll listen now. Unless concerned citizens like you and I make ourselves impossible to ignore. Stand up! Take your city back! That's the only way we can ever be sure that justice will be done. That, and listening to me every day! I got an interesting tip today. Remember that barbaric beast named the Rhino? Apparently last night he almost escaped from his cell in the raft. How, you ask? Well, no one there seems to know, but they assure me he's been relocated to a more secure cell. Now, I'm no expert on Supermax prisons, but isn't the whole point of them that there isn't anything else more secure? I mean, he's a 700-pound maniac with an indestructible horn. If there's a more secure cell, why wasn't he in it? Now, here's a frightening thought. Oscorp does research and development for the military. Are the demons after experimental weapons? If I was a psychotic cult, I would be. I wonder where they got the idea. What highly visible figure has made a career out of fighting madmen with lethal experimental technology like flight suits, tectonic gauntlets, and gigantic scorpion tails? No, don't say the name! I just ate. It started, folks. I'm getting word of a serious increase in the drug trade in our fair city. And it's not the demons or Wilson Fisk's former people. Criminals across the board are getting bolder. Just as I predicted, the rats are crawling out of their holes, sensing weakness and opportunity. No one listened to me before. I pray they'll listen to me now. Be careful out there. A group of terrorists assassinate American citizens in a bombing attack. How is it possible that instead of being wiped out of existence, these masked criminals are still at large and still striking at innocent people like Oscorp CFO Charles Standish in their own homes? How? You're on with J. Jonah Jameson.
Yeah, my cousin's a corrections officer, and he says the demons they've arrested aren't talking. They clam up, won't even speak to their lawyers.
This underscores a concern I've had about these demons. They're not regular criminals. They might not even be ordinary terrorists, although they certainly commit terrorist acts. But it looks to me more and more like they're a cult.
Are you kidding me? Those kind of people are out of their minds. They'll do anything.
It's horrifying, isn't it? Does this mean that we have to live in fear? To be constantly looking over our shoulders? To expect an attack at any moment? My opinion, folks, the answer is yes. Let's talk about Halloween, folks. It may be good fun for the kids to dress up as a cowboy or astronaut or ballerina and trick-or-treat, but this trend of grown adults glorifying the likes of Spider-Man by dressing up as them is, especially in the times we live in, disturbing. What say you, Gino from the Bronx?
Yeah, well, I get your point, but my girlfriend got this sexy Spider-Girl costume, and it really spices things up. Know what I'm saying?
Huh. I most certainly do not. J. Jonah Jameson is not one to be judgmental, but you, sir, are an extremely disturbed man. Goodbye. Folks, you've no doubt heard about the riot at Empire State University. But this is not your usual toxic mix of underage drinking, entitled millennials, and hormones run rampant. Authorities are keeping a tight lid on the situation, but my sources tell me the demons drugged the students, turning them into deadly rage machines. What has become of our fair city, ladies and gentlemen, when we have to fear our own children, our neighbors, our husbands and wives? Be vigilant, be on guard, and keep a close eye on that barista with the man bun making your skinny latte, or you could be next! Friends, there's a fine line between being a conspiracy theorist and seeing a clear pattern. I walk that line, and I am confident in perceiving a common thread among these attacks on Oscorp and Norman Osborn by the demons. The motive? It's hard to ascribe motive to lunatics, but I suspect it's no accident that they're striking at both a pillar of our corporate community and the center of our city's government. It's our very way of life that's under assault. As I have always warned, if you've been listening to me, you're ready. If not, I'll pray for you. Our next caller reports a problem I saw coming a mile away. Go ahead, ma'am.
Well, I was coming out of the bathtub last night when I glanced out my window, and what do I see? Spider-Man, swinging by like he owns the place. I was naked.
Madam, you have my sympathies. Just imagine what sort of deviant personality would dress up like that in the first place. And it's a short step from there to peeping Tom activity. Folks, it doesn't matter if you live on the first floor or the 31st. Keep your curtains drawn. Lock your windows. A webbed pervert walks among us. You night owls may have seen lights flickering out at the Raft Supermax prison last night. Sadly, it was not because one of their inmates got the chair. No. Apparently, someone there hit on an idea I actually think has merit, which is making that recidivist criminal Electro pay for his room and board by powering the prison himself, saving taxpayers' money. Not surprisingly, though, it turns out he hates actual work as much as he loves robbing and murdering, so they had to go back to the city's grid, which I'd imagine is why I still can't run my microwave and toaster at the same time without blowing a fuse. I've got a lot of people asking me what they can do now that they've woken up to the danger we're facing. I wish there were an easy answer. Obviously, we have to be aware of the danger posed by the criminal element, but we also need to hold to account those whose job it is to protect us, the police. These Sable agents who work for the mayor work for us, and we must not tolerate anyone who contributes to the lawlessness sweeping Manhattan. And yes, that very much includes Spider-Man. Here's another call of a type I've been getting a lot lately. Speak!
Mr. Jameson, I want to apologize. I used to think you were an alarmist, but look what's happened to the city. I'm afraid to walk the streets.
As well you should be. And I accept your apology. It's understandable you were bamboozled by the mainstream voices telling you everything was dandy, nothing to worry about. Go out and consume. Don't ask questions. I was a lone voice in the wilderness then, but now more and more people like you are realizing who spoke the truth. And that, my friends, is how we will take our city back. Okay. Even the mole people living in the sewers know about the high-speed chase between police, Spider-Man, and the demons. Once again, Spider-Man makes a bad situation infinitely worse, and we have a highly intelligent caller who agrees with me. You're on with J.J.J. Jameson.
Yes, Mr. Jameson. Yeah, I was trying to get to work, and I was almost run over. Look, I understand that Spider-Man saved the kidnapped victim, and I'm glad about that. But I could have been killed.
Not just you. This is the problem with that masked maniac. The police are able to coordinate efforts, block streets, lay down tire shredding strips, because they're a team. Spider-Man is a one-man show who cares about one thing. Spider-Man! And you almost paid for that. With your life. Folks, the mastermind of the City Hall bombing has finally been brought to justice, and shockingly, it's philanthropist Martin Lee. Now, I'll discuss in a moment what kind of twisted Jekyll and Hyde mentality it takes to lead such a double life. But first, a word of caution to everyone celebrating his arrest. Yes, it's good that he's in jail, but look at all the things we didn't know. How long was he a suspect without anyone telling us? How long did he have a deadly biological weapon that could kill us all? Shouldn't we have been told? Evacuated the city? It's not an accident that we weren't given the information we need to protect ourselves and our families. Someone made that decision. Was it the police? The mayor? I know one guilty party for sure, and his initials are Spider-Man. Now, reports are coming in that Martin Lee, along with exhibiting freakish abilities like those of you-know-who, has lately seemed to display almost a split personality. This is hogwash and a clear attempt to evade justice for his crimes. Only a fool would believe that he's Mr. Positive one moment, helping the poor with a smile, then suddenly he's Mr. Negative, blowing up, wait a minute, Mr. Negative. That's gold, Jared. Gold, trademark it, stat. As I was saying, folks, Martin Lee's evil side, or as everyone is now calling him, Mr. Negative, has been revealed as the culprit for the City Hall bombing. New polls are in. Mayor Osborne's approval ratings have spiked since Martin Lee's arrest. He seems a shoo-in for re-election. I've got one of his supporters on the line. Speak!
Mayor Osborne's got my vote. He got Lee and recovered the WMD. He saved us. And Spider-Man had a lot to do with...
Let me stop you right there because you're obviously not seeing the big picture. Yes, the threat was averted, but how did things get to that point? Where did this devil's breath come from? Why does Spider-Man always seem to know things before we do? The threat's not really over until we know it won't happen again, and I'm not exactly up to my mustache in confidence. Mark my words, it's no time for New Yorkers to let their guard down. It's happened, people. The chickens have come home to roost. Of course, by chickens, I mean the lunatics who've escaped from Rikers Island. And the home they're coming to is yours. Thanks to Spider-Man attracting these psychos to our city like moths to a flame. We had them all stashed right off the coast of Manhattan, if only someone had pointed out what a bad idea that is. Wait! I did. So listen to me now. Lock your doors. Arm yourselves with whatever you can get your hands on. It is now every man, woman, and child for themselves. And with reports that the Devil's Breath WMD has again been stolen, I have a very bad feeling it's only going to get worse from here. Alarmist, paranoid, conspiracy theorist. All nasty words people have used to insult and demean me. But now, after years of me trying to warn you all, here we are. Spider-Man has literally brought a plague down upon us. Why do I blame him and not Martin Lee? I do blame Martin Lee. He deserves swift justice, but he's a lunatic terrorist. This is what they do. Whereas Spider-Man claims to be a hero. Yet he obviously knew about the threat and didn't warn us. He either thought he'd handled it, which makes him criminally negligent, or he was in on it, which makes him a terrorist too. There is someone else who isn't emerging from this crisis in a positive light. Mayor Osborne. Experimenting on something as deadly as Devil's Breath in the heart of Manhattan is the height of irresponsibility. What did Osborne know and when did he know it? The answer could mean the difference between electoral defeat, impeachment, and prison. Stay tuned to the only voice you can trust in these dire times. Mine. My friends, I'm getting a lot of frantic calls from people trying to get out of Manhattan. While I understand the impulse, that is not the answer. I've been in touch with the National Disease Center, and they've assured me they're working on an anti-serum. But for their efforts to bear fruit, we need to keep our composure. Here's why we have to stay where we are. Firstly, we need to keep the disease contained. The more it spreads and the more people who are sick, the fewer resources there are to go around. And I have received personal assurances from officials in Albany that relief convoys are coming, containing food and medicine. And, I've just been handed an update. Oh, you have got to be kidding me. It seems the relief convoys I just mentioned are being attacked by escaped inmates from Rikers Island Prison. Spider-Man, this is on you! You were there in the most charitable reading of the situation! You failed to stop the breakout! Worst case, you were responsible for it! You always claimed to be on our side. Well, Webhead, if that's true, you are rapidly running out of chances to prove it! Folks, the city is in crisis. We have bridges and tunnels closed. People who work in the city but don't live here are trapped within. Others have been barred from homes placed under emergency quarantine. I'm hearing reports of tent cities, people sleeping in parks. It's like the Depression and the 1918 flu epidemic all rolled into one. I know times are hard and we are all struggling, but if you see someone who needs help, do what you can. That's the only way we'll make it through this. We must pull together or fall apart. Jared, write that down. That was a good one.
I've had numerous callers today reporting that entire city blocks are being taken over by escaped inmates from Rikers. These are literal no-go zones in the heart of Manhattan, a dystopian future from 70s movies come to life. Why don't the police stop it, you ask? Oh, you're going to love this. It seems the prisoners ambushed a convoy carrying weapons and ammunition for the authorities and took it all for themselves. The police are outgunned by their own guns. Well, all right, this is where the rubber meets the road. This is where we see if Sable International and Spider-Man are the protectors they claim to be. These criminals aren't hiding. They're right in plain sight, daring you to come get them. Well, we're waiting!
More and more listeners are warning that the mayor's Sable agents, ostensibly here to protect us, are behaving more like an occupying army. But let's hear it from the caller. Go ahead.
They won't let me in my building. Said it's quarantined. I said, fine, let me in and I'll stay there. They pointed their guns at me, ran me off like a criminal. I got no place to go.
Caller, this is deeply disturbing to me. I promise you, I'll bring it to the attention of the proper authorities. Emergencies do not permit the suspension of human rights. Your elected officials may not be willing to fight for you, but J. Jonah Jameson is. The mass breakout at Rikers Island, which camera footage clearly shows Spider-Man involved in, has spilled countless hardened criminals into our streets at the worst possible time. I want to hear how it's affecting you. Speak!
I don't know who I'm more scared of. The criminals or these Sable people. They've all got guns. I mean, it's like the Wild West out here. If one doesn't kill you, the other will.
You raise a very salient point, caller. In times of martial law, civil liberties are most at risk. My advice? Keep your head down. Don't go out unless you have to. Trust the police before Sable. They're from here. They're in this with us. Document any abuses. At some point, this will be over, and they will be held accountable.
Well, what do we do about the escaped inmates from Rikers, Mr. Jameson? They'll do anything. Looting, home invasion, murder.
Fight back. Arm yourselves with whatever you can. Legal firearms, baseball bats, pepper spray, hell, cooking spray in the eyes if that's all you got. We're New Yorkers. We don't lie down for anyone.
Okay, but what if it's one of these nut jobs with powers? Like that rhinoceros guy?
And my friend, you pray. And you go down fighting. Electro trying to destroy our power grid. The Vulture raining death from above. Spider-Man egging them both on in the very heart of our city, brawling like children. Lethal children, pitching a tantrum of death and destruction. I'm often asked, why do menaces like this end up with awesome powers? Why not someone like you, Jonah? Well, I have considered trying to use advanced science to give me powers, only so I could protect you in a more hands-on way, of course. But after much reflection, I've decided against it. Because power corrupts. I'm a man of the people, and I want to stay one of the hard-working, ordinary people of New York, so I'll just help via my talk show, my publishing empire, and my vast personal fortune. No need to thank me. It's what a man of the people does. I realize Norman Osborn claimed he was stepping back from running Oscorp when he was elected. But has he? Or is he using his office, his public trust, to enrich himself beyond imagining? And with threats like Electro, the Devil's Breath sickness, and who knows what else, has his greed endangered us all? These questions need to be asked. And as long as there is breath in my body, I will ask them. We have a return caller who recently raised concerns about Sable agents abusing their authority. Let's find out. Are things any better?
There's less people complaining. You know why? Because anyone who does disappears. You seen all these Sable bases popping up around town? I heard they're prison camps for anyone who steps out of line.
I've heard those rumors as well, and while I initially thought it was fear-mongering, something I have absolutely no patience for, I have grown increasingly concerned. Why won't they let me in to inspect their bases? What are they hiding? We still abide by the Constitution, folks, and that includes protection against unreasonable searches and seizures, and freedom of speech. So if you have concerns, if you see abuses happening, call me. If the authorities won't listen, I will. And I will spread the word to our fellow New Yorkers. If these tyrants think they can silence me, let them try. No one puts a muzzle on J. Jonah Jameson. Because some people are spreading scurrilous rumors about me, I want to address the matter of the Scorpion right now. Yes, I paid for the procedure that empowered him. We desperately needed someone to bring down Spider-Man. It's not my fault the treatments drove him crazy. It's that ivory tower elite scientist who was so hungry for my money he didn't take proper precautions. No one believes in personal responsibility more than J. Jonah Jameson. But in this, I can categorically say, I am blameless. Does anyone else find it suspicious that this Rhino person always knocks down buildings and tears up roads, which someone ends up making money rebuilding? Am I suggesting a conspiracy? You're damn right! Now, if you've seen the man testify in court, you know the Rhino is too stupid to plan anything himself. So who's the mastermind? Well, who else is always there, supposedly fighting Rhino, but actually leading him around like a red cape does a bull? Say it with me! Spider-Man! My friends, the Rhino and the Scorpion are back behind bars, but only after wreaking unimaginable havoc in a reckless rampage with Spider-Man. Hopefully, they'll never see daylight again, but we need to be ready if they do. Normal humans can't stand against the likes of the Rhino. So, here's my proposal. You've heard of police dogs, right? Now bear with me. We train, outfit, and deploy police rhinoceroses. You got a rhino? We got a rhino too, baby! Folks, I know you're scared. But when I hear reports of looting, fights over food or medicine, I say to myself, we are better than this. You are better than this. I've known you my whole life. I am proud to be a member of this community. Don't give in to fear. Help each other. Stand up for those who need it. I've always hated hearing Spider-Man called a hero, because real heroes are the people who get up every day with no special powers and do the right thing simply because it is the right thing. So I'm asking you now, be the heroes I know you all are. J. Jonah Jameson believes in you. I have never lied to you before, and I'm not going to start now. It's looking bad. We're running short on time. The elderly especially are in rough shape. And the NDC, despite working around the clock, as yet has no results. But do not forget this. We are New Yorkers. We take care of each other. We do what's right to the very end. And if we are facing the end, I can tell you this from the bottom of my heart. There's no one I'd rather have at my side. Whatever comes next, we will face it bravely. Together, as New Yorkers. My friends, the privilege has been mine. With the island of Manhattan quarantined, there are a lot of scared people out there. Here's one. You're on the air.
They're turning back boats to the mainland. All bridges and tunnels are closed. Aircraft's grounded. They're leaving us here to die, aren't they?
Calm down, caller. I have always been the voice of reason, so listen to me now. I know from my vast network of contacts that the National Disease Center is working on recreating the stolen anti-serum. A cure is coming. The question is, how long will it take? Will it get here in time? But we've been through tough spots before, and we'll get through this too.
They'll never finish a cure in time for us. They're writing us off. Manhattan's a graveyard.
Not true. The NDC is doing what they can. If they're busy dealing with outbreaks all over the country, or the world, that's less time they have to work on the anti-serum. I know it's hard to trust anyone these days, but you've always been able to trust me to tell it like it is, and I am telling you now, do not violate the quarantine. Stay in your homes. Take care of your families. I'll be right here, facing it with you. We're New Yorkers. We can handle anything. And we can sure as hell beat this. Mark your calendars, folks, because I'm going to say something you thought you'd never hear from me. Spider-Man got it right. Does that mean I was wrong about him? Am I apologizing? Hell no. You see, I have it on good authority that he is a regular listener of this program, and now it makes a lot of sense. He heard what I said. He internalized it, and he learned, improved himself, and against all odds, he did the right thing. So, Spider-Man, you're welcome. However, don't think I'm going to go easy on Spider-Man from here on out. I'll be watching, keeping him honest. Spider-Man, since I know you're listening, imagine my eyes on you everywhere you go. I mean, not like the shower. That would be weird. Or the bathroom. Or let's go to commercial. Folks, I'm hearing a lot of praise for Spider-Man lately, and I'm not saying it's entirely unwarranted. He did listen to me after all, and did the right thing in the end. But dial it back, will ya? I can tell it's going to his head. Look at him. The wisecracking, the grandstanding, swinging around the city like he owns it. This is not his city, it's mine. I mean ours. One thing even my detractors have to say about J. Jonah Jameson. I admit when I'm wrong. And while I hoped his efforts in the recent crisis meant Spider-Man was finally becoming a responsible citizen, a mature adult, I am here to confess I was wrong. I wanted to believe. I hoped it was true. But even a stop clock is right twice a day. And I guess curing the plague was Spider-Man's stop clock moment. You know, looking at the dark days just behind us, most of the people involved have faced consequences. Otto Octavius is in prison. Mayor Osborn resigned in disgrace. Escapees from Rikers continue to be rounded up. The remaining demons and Wilson Fisk's men are fighting over scraps. But funny how Spider-Man has faced no repercussions. Well, sure, you might say he saved us. But should saving all our lives really give him a mulligan on his long history of reckless behavior? Tune in after this message for my answer. Spoiler, no! Some people have accused me of being negative, only criticizing, not offering solutions when it comes to Spider-Man. Here's my solution, and it's very simple. Unmask. Join the police academy. Wear a badge. Then you can catch all the crooks you want, and I'll sing your praises on this very show. And all that hogwash about how that would place his loved ones in danger? Come on. You can't convince me that guy has any loved ones. After much listener demand, today I am finally going to answer the question I have posed for many years. Spider-Man, threat or menace? Yes, that's right. It's time. I'm taking a position, and that position is... he's both. Sometimes he's a threatening menace, and sometimes he's a menacing threat. But come on, how can you menace someone without also being a threat? And vice versa. And for those grammar Nazis among you who say I'm being redundant, it's called art. I'm a wordsmith. It's a rhetorical device. And if you don't like it, I'll tell you where you can shove that device. Okay, my intern is telling me it's time for my pills. We will be right back. I'm getting emails from the rapidly shrinking yet still stubbornly obtuse contingent of Spider-Man fanboys and fangirls, blithely insisting he did a wonderful thing, shutting down a drug lab run by a delightful fellow whose street name seems to be, wait for it, Tombstone. Now, I'm glad he's behind bars, but do you know how Spider-Man shut this operation down? By setting it on fire. Do you know what drug labs do when you set them on fire? They explode! Spider-Man could have taken out the entire block with his criminally reckless grandstanding. Fortunately, New York's bravest, our firefighters, contained the blaze because that's their job. And if Spider-Man had any sense, he'd have turned over whatever information he had on Tombstone to the police and let New York's finest do their job. But no, he thought the best way to handle drug dealing is with arson. Imagine this. A stray shopping cart dents your car. You take it to the auto body shop, only that shop is a front for a drug lord called Tombstone, and he and Spider-Man have decided to have a power struggle at that precise moment. Sir, tell us the rest.
I start to go in and I see Spider-Man fighting this massive guy with fangs like a shark.
That would be one Lonnie Lincoln, a.k.a. Tombstone. Did it seem they were fighting over drug profits or merchandise? I understand there's talk of a new drug that turns its users into zombies.
I don't know what it was about. I got my ass out of there.
Sir, I understand you've been through a lot, but please refrain from using that kind of language. This is a family show.
Sorry. Anyway, I'm glad I split, because pretty soon, the cops and firefighters are there.
Ah, the real heroes. What a relief. I think we can all use a happy ending.
I thought this was a family show.
Jared, get rid of him! Have you ever been driving along, going to work or church, minding your own business, when suddenly, bam, you hit a pothole, damaging your car and ruining your whole day? Well, you know who to blame. No, not city bureaucracy. Spider-Man. He's been seen leaping down from great heights to pound the ground with maximum force. Why? There's only one possible reason I can think of. He hates us, and he wants us to be miserable. Folks, I have received unsettling reports of Spider-Man in our public parks, where children play, apparently stalking pigeons. Yes, wild pigeons. You may wonder if he's gone insane, a perfectly valid question, but have you heard of the Goliath bird-eating spider? I'll spare you the gory details, but it's a spider big enough to devour birds. Now, Spider-Man sticks to walls like a spider, he jumps like a spider. What else does he do like a spider? So, numerous witnesses saw Spider-Man swinging through Times Square like the glory hound he is, firing webs at electronic billboards and causing them to reboot. Granted, those billboards are an eyesore. In my day, sign painting was an art. But the more pressing question is, what was he up to? I have a theory. He is infecting these billboards with a virus so that they will subliminally hypnotize pedestrians. Hypnotize them into what? Into liking Spider-Man, and he's been doing it for years. This is the only plausible explanation for how many fans this menace seems to have. Another low-information spider fanboy tried to troll me, as the young people say, by claiming Spider-Man was providing a public service plugging leaks in water towers. Let me tell you why this itsy-bitsy-brain spider was climbing this particular water spout, people. Because he tampered with the water pressure system. He was seen earlier messing with a valve that only qualified workers are supposed to use. Wake up, America! Spider-Man creates the problems he then solves, then expects you to reward him with your adoration. The sad thing is, all too many do. Fortunately, you know better, thanks to me. Has anyone else heard reports of Spider-Man literally seeking out clouds of smog to swing through? Is this the behavior of a sane individual? I'll tell you what I think is going on here. When I was a lad, there was a problem with juvenile delinquents sniffing glue to get high. Knowing Spider-Man's weak moral character and thrill-seeking personality, I'd guess the same principle is at work here. But inhaling toxic substances also damages the brain, which actually explains a lot about Spider-Man. He's swinging through the city hopped up on smog. Okay, this one confounded me for a while. Apparently, Spider-Man's been seen throughout the city tampering with steam regulators. Aside from generally being a vandal and a troublemaker, why would he do this? I'll tell you why. Because when the city has to send crews out to fix these problems, they need police to direct traffic around them. That's officers who aren't stopping crime. Which leaves, say it with me, Spider-Man. He's trying to take our brave officers' jobs. Remember when Spider-Man had a sidekick? The Black Cat, a curvaceous young lady in leather. Not the kind you'd bring home to mother. And then it turned out she was a thief. Big shock, right? Well, I hear she's back. And let me make a prediction. Spider-Man's going to give her a second chance. Is it because he's naive? A thief himself? Or is he just thinking with his web shooters? Spider-Man, I know you're listening, so let me issue a warning now. As the old saying goes, lie down with cats, get up with fleas. What's that? My intern is yammering in my ear again. It's dogs? I thought it was cats. It doesn't matter. The metaphor still applies. Dogs, cats. Go away, Jared. Friends, today we have a caller who's been a victim of what people call the corruption that infects otherwise law-abiding citizens, causing them to go on violent rampages. Police assure me these corrupted are not responsible for their actions, so I am not divulging my guest's name. Tell us, caller, what was it like?
Surreal. Like I was in a nightmare world, surrounded by monsters. And every dark impulse I ever had, anger, fear, hate, was ramped up and turned loose.
Terrifying. And I understand that while you were in the grip of this madness, Spider-Man beat you up.
Well, he stopped me hurting people.
By beating you up?
I mean, he used as little force as possible.
That sounds like a yes. There you have it, people. Spider-Man beats up the mentally ill. Now, some people falsely say I make up stories about Spider-Man. And this will not help my case because it sounds outlandish, but I have personally seen listener-recorded video of Spider-Man snatching pigeons. Pigeon napping. Why? What possible purpose could there be for such aberrant behavior? I've thought about it long and hard, and I think I've figured it out. He's eating them. We've always assumed Spider-Man is a man with the attributes of a spider. But what if it's the reverse? What if somehow a spider gained the powers of a man and he's stalking his prey? Somewhere there's a giant web with these poor pigeons stuck in it, waiting to be devoured. And will it stop at pigeons? Will we be next? I promise you this. I will not rest until I have the answers. Bring your children into the room, friends, because I'm delivering a lesson impressionable youngsters need to hear. My guest today is a man who learned the hard way that dressing up like Spider-Man isn't cool. Go ahead, sir.
Well, I wanted to fight crime and help people, and I'm a big Spider-Man fan, so I put on a costume like his and tried to do what he does. Oh, boy, was that a mistake. I almost got killed. I'm just lucky the real Spider-Man saved me.
Let me stop you right there because I think the salient point has been made. Emulate Spider-Man in any way, and you will die! Don't do it, kids! And that's another one of Uncle Jonah's life lessons. Jared, trademark that. Our next caller was involved in a frightening hostage situation. Tell us about it, please.
Oh my God, I thought I was gonna die, but Spider-Man got involved and it...
Totally unconcerned with your safety.
Well, he did save me.
Through sheer luck, you could have been brutally killed.
Yeah, sure, but I could have been killed if he wasn't there.
Let's refrain from unfounded speculation and focus on solid established fact. Spider-Man does not care if you live or die. Now, if there's one thing I can't abide, it's egomaniacs who use the internet solely to draw attention to themselves. And we just had a real meeting of the minds in that respect, as the online personality Screwball pranked fellow narcissist Spider-Man into an epic snipe hunt that put innocent people in danger. On the one hand, Screwball did show us all just how gullible and reckless Spider-Man is, rushing headlong into dangerous situations without knowing or caring who he'll hurt as long as cameras are on him. On the other hand, Screwball herself is no better. Unlike me, she's not trying to expose wrongdoers like Spider-Man as a public service. She's just in it to promote herself, which I think is absolutely despicable. Now don't go away. Just the Facts with J. Jonah Jameson will be right back after this important message about how you can buy my book. Folks, you've heard me express grave concerns about the risk to civil liberties posed by the police department's crime system and their omnipresent towers. but at least the intention is to stop crimes. Now, recently, Spider-Man has been seen tampering with these very towers, and it's reasonable that my loyal listeners suspect he is disabling the towers so he can commit his unlawful misdeeds with impunity. But Spider-Man is not your ordinary run-of-the-mill menace. Oh, he's a 12th level Kung Fu master, 50 moves ahead menace, which is why I think he's actually hacking into these towers to spy on you and me. Your only defense? Listen to my show. All the time. If he's gonna spy on us, let him hear that we're on to him by listening to me every waking moment. Longtime caller Officer Andrews is back with us. As always, thank you for your service to our fair city, officer. What's new?
Mr. Jameson, you know I'm a fan, but I just saw Spider-Man in action. I worked with him to stop Wilson Fisk's men from stealing back their hard drives, and he's a stand-up guy.
Now wait a second, my friend. I'm not questioning your word. I'm sure what you said happened. But have you considered that it was in Spider-Man's interest to help you?
How so?
He obviously had a long-standing feud with Fisk and wants him put away. That doesn't make him Mother Teresa. It just means he had a grudge.
Look, I hear you, but why can't we give him the benefit of the doubt?
Why? Because he hides behind that mask. You trained. You stand up with your badge and name tag on, and you do your job every day. He runs and hides. If you cause the kind of damage he does, what would happen?
I'd be doing paperwork until the day I retire, and probably riding a desk, too.
And why, my dear friend, should you have to follow these rules, and not him?
You know, that's a damn good point.
I knew you'd come around. Once again, a low-information member of Spider-Man's cult, fan club, wants to make him a saint. Sounds insane, but I always hear people out before passing judgment. Go ahead, caller.
Yes, well, Spider-Man has been all over this city, stopping crimes, large and small, helping people, doing good.
Wrong, wrong, wrong!
I thought you were going to hear me out.
I've heard enough. Rational arguments are clearly lost on you, madam, but there may be hope for others out there, so let me go over it again. It is not helping when a vigilante leaps into the middle of a crime scene or emergency situation with no training, expertise, or public identity. What if he injures someone? Who holds him accountable? The answer, my friends, is me. Friends, there's a caller on the line we all need to hear from. Go ahead, sir.
Yeah, I almost got run over by some psychos in a high-speed car chase with the cops. It's lucky no one got killed. But here's the really messed up part. I saw Spider-Man in the area, and he didn't do a thing to stop it.
Aha! Of course not! Why? Because no doubt, it was too much effort. Spider-Man doesn't like effort. He wants everything to be easy, or he's not interested. Typical of his generation. You know what I blame? The internet. Except for the part of the internet that carries my show, which is performing a great public service. As I warned, Nostradamus-like, after Spider-Man recklessly took down Wilson Fisk without preparing for the consequences, our streets are now filled with aspiring gangsters, each trying to out-psycho the other. My next guest is lucky to have survived an armed robbery. Sir, we're glad you're okay.
Thanks. It was nuts. These dudes walk in like they own the place, waving guns around.
Appalling, when a businessman is afraid to make an honest living.
Yeah, it was a lifesaver that Spider-Man came along and stopped him.
Weren't you listening? He caused the problem! Forgive me for raising my voice. I'm emotional at the thought of what you went through. Jared, our caller seems shaken. Let's let him go.
I'm fine.
Goodbye! Get ready, folks, because this is a bombshell. We have on the line a lady whose husband was kidnapped by Spider-Man.
What? No, you've got it all wrong. My husband was kidnapped by criminals who shoved him into the trunk of a car. Spider-Man found him and got him out, then arrested the criminals when they came back.
Pardon me, ma'am, I didn't hear that last part over my intern's utter incompetence. You realize, of course, that it's possible Spider-Man arranged the kidnapping so he could save your husband and grab all the glory?
That seems like a lot of trouble to go to when he could just stop actual crimes.
It's clear we are at an impasse. My best to you and your husband, madam. Jared, go to commercial, then fire yourself.
Then rehire yourself before the commercial ends. But no, your job hangs by a thread. If I paid you, I'd cut your salary in half.
Not long ago, the demons committed another heinous act of terrorism when they took a tour bus and all of its occupants hostage. We have one of those occupants here with us now, a Mrs. Edna Packer of Edina, Minnesota. What happened, ma'am?
Well, these horrible men in masks came on board with guns and held us all hostage. I thought I'd never see my kids again. And then the police saved us, and Spider-Man, of course. He was so brave.
Mrs. Packer, I'm so glad you're safe. And also that I can enlighten you about Spider-Man. You're from out of town, so you don't know what a menace he is.
But he saved me and my husband.
But look at the big picture. Do you have these kind of crimes in Edina?
Oh, certainly not.
And do you have Spider-Man in Edina?
No.
And that is not a coincidence. You're welcome, Mrs. Packer. I consider explaining these things a public service. Now, friends, you know I'm always open to differing points of view. So after a police officer called me out on social media for being too hard on Spider-Man, and it went viral and people just wouldn't shut up about it, I agreed to a debate. Officer, welcome.
Thanks for having me. Yeah, so me and my guys went in a shootout with some desperate characters who had nothing to lose. I mean, they didn't care if we all lived or died. And somebody would have, trust me, if Spider-Man hadn't helped us.
All right, fair enough. I'm not saying he never does anything good. I'm saying he causes more problems than he solves. You had to go to the academy, right? Be thoroughly trained? You have rules to follow?
Sure, but he seems to know what he's doing, too.
It worked out for the best this time. Next time, how do we know Spider-Man won't cause the deaths of all concerned?
Well, he never has before, has he?
I believe we'll just have to agree to disagree. Thank you for your service. Goodbye! Savvy listeners don't need me to tell you that the Demon's cult, gang, terrorist organization, all the above apply, is out of control. We have a survivor of one of their brazen attacks on the line. Go ahead.
I was home, in my building, when we got word there were demons on the roof planting bombs. We had to evacuate, but we also heard there were snipers waiting to pick us off if we tried to leave.
Despicable. Fortunately, the police and the bomb squad handled the situation.
And Spider-Man, he...
Jared, cut the call! Sorry. Hard to hear when we're talking over each other. Clearly someone traumatized by a terrifying experience. For resources to help with PTSD, go to our website. Another public service from J.J.J. Jameson. Friends, you know about the Spider-Man-related breakout at Rikers Island. Where are those escapees going now? To your neighborhood! Our next caller witnessed it personally. Please, tell us.
I was just coming back from the store when a swarm of guys in prison jumpsuits came out of nowhere, like a pack of wolves. Robbing, beating, looting. Lucky for us, Spider-Man took them down.
Yes, well, you know how criminals are. Rival factions and all. He didn't want the competition.
Competition? Spider-Man didn't steal anything.
That you know of. Next caller! I've expressed my concern with Sable International's heavy-handed tactics. Our next caller witnessed them firsthand. Tell us what happened.
A bunch of us were protesting Sable, standing up for our rights like you always say, and suddenly they just start beating on people and arresting us for no reason.
This is always the risk of giving anyone too much power. They abuse it. Be aware that if you stand up to them, there may be consequences. It's up to you whether that's a risk worth taking. For me, clearly it is.
The crazy thing was, Spider-Man set us free.
Yes, well that's what happens when the supposed authorities start breaking the law. Next to them, other lawbreakers don't seem so bad. Thanks for calling. We're out of time. People, I always thought Spider-Man was a few geese short of a gaggle, but this confirms it. As if that atrocious white spider wasn't enough, I've had repeated sightings of him in a new outfit. Some sort of
punk rock-inspired thing that makes sane people want to tear out their eyeballs with a rusty spoon. Now, I was around for the birth of punk rock, and I did not care for it then. It's a flagrant declaration of disrespect for authority, and if Spider-Man is going down that route... Oh, no, I just had a terrifying thought. What if this isn't the Spider-Man we know, but some sort of metal mohawk-wearing copycat? What if there's more than one? Jared, go to break. I need to lie down.
Oh my god. Finally, the last one. Oh my god.
Folks, you know I'm not one to promote conspiracy theories. Except ones I think are worthy of further discussion, like this one. I've heard reports of Spider-Man hovering around radio towers. At first, I thought he was sabotaging them. But a far more alarming possibility came to mind. In his misguided delusion that he is protecting us, is he hacking into all our conversations? Business deals, credit card transactions, those personal calls with the wife when you're on a long, lonely book tour. I mean, when one is on a book tour, I wasn't talking about myself. I don't do that sort of thing, and anyone who thinks they have recordings of me doing it is wrong. As you probably heard, Spider-Man stopped the crime boss Hammerhead's thugs from robbing the Museum of Contemporary Art. Good for him, right? Wrong! They nearly demolished the place and everything in it. They were shooting rocket launchers indoors. See, even if you assume good intentions, which I do not, this is the problem with Spider-Man. He escalates every situation into an apocalyptic disaster. What good is it to save the art from being stolen if you blow it up? Now, I realize this is pretentious, navel-gazing modern art. Soup cans and ink splatters that look like they were splashed on by a drunk elephant. But I'm not an art critic. I just know what I don't like. And I do not like that webbed menace trashing our public spaces! If you followed my career, and of course you have, you know I notched my first big bylines covering the Maggia crime families. The media's declared them dead more than once, but not unlike cockroaches, they always come back, just like they're doing now. I hear people make excuses for them. They're not so bad. They follow rules, unlike the demons or the cartels. Ha! And that's true. Until they go to war with each other. Then bullets fly, cars explode, horses lose their heads. And my Jonah sense tells me there's a gang war brewing. So hold on to your cannolis, folks. Come on, Jared, that's not an ethnic slur. I like cannolis. The Maggia, a syndicate of crime families, symbols of a bygone era. Don Fortunato, Don Cicero, Don Macchio, just to name a few. And of course, that metal-domed lunatic, Hammerhead. Criminals, but ones who follow a code. Better than most, right? Wrong! They toss their code out the window the second it's inconvenient, because a criminal is a criminal, and they are by definition cowards, lowlifes, and scum. I brought down the Maggia virtually single-handed in the 80s and early 90s, and let me tell you right now, I stand ready to do it again. I am not afraid of them, not one bit. You want me? Come and get me. That's all the time we have. Jared, go start the car. No, I'm the boss, and I say you do it. Oh, stop crying. Guess who's confirmed to be back in town? That feline felon, the Black Cat. Seems she led Spider-Man on a merry chase before getting away. Ever notice how that happens a lot with him and her? Funny how he can hold on to a dinosaur man or a human rhino with no problem, but a mere slip of a girl gives him so much trouble. Look, it's not that long ago when I was a young man myself, I get it. And I set a gams, a shapely derriere, a few batted eyelashes, and a hormone-addled youth can easily get hornswoggled, which is exactly why Spider-Man has no business handling this. Leave it to the professionals. We have lady police officers now. Maybe this is a chance for them to prove they're as good as men, which, I have no doubt about, but there are less forward-thinking people out there. The internet's rife with footage of Spider-Man chasing the Black Cat across the rooftops. And apparently, there are hordes of young people cheering them on. They're called shippers. No, that has nothing to do with boats. It's short for relationship. As in, they really want Spider-Man and the Black Cat to be together romantically. Or they really don't. And they have quite intense arguments about it. Flame wars, I believe, is the term. You know, in my day, we didn't have time for flame wars about shipping. You know why? Because we had jobs. So here's J. Jonah Jameson's public service announcement to our youth. You're into shipping? Join the Navy! Bar fights are nothing new in this town. But the one that cleared out the Blackwing Tavern wasn't just your typical beer-fueled brawl. That particular establishment has, let's say, alleged ties to the Magia. And guess who was right smack in the middle of it? Spider-Man and the Black Cat. At this point, I think it's fair to ask, who is on whose side here? Are Spider-Man and the Cat working for rival Magia families? Or the same one? Or, and remember, I always think 10 steps ahead, are they starting their own family? Huh? It would explain a lot about why Spider-Man, who clearly has no respect for the law, takes down criminals. Less competition for him and his gunmole floozy. We might just have Bonnie and Clyde in spandex on our hands. You youngsters won't recall, but there was an earlier Black Cat. A criminal from the old school. And of course, like everything else these days, they had to reboot it with a woman. Now, no one loves women more than J. Jonah Jameson. In a respectful, non-harassing way, of course. I just think this new Black Cat is a bad example for our young ladies. The original stole and took his chances. He didn't try to convince us he could be a good guy like this Jezebel did, remember? She ran around playing the crime fighter until it became clear she was stealing from the very crooks she arrested, which proves the point I always make: a Black Cat cannot change its spots. I know they don't have spots, but you get my meaning. Wait. Jared tells me black leopards do have spots. You just can't see them. I was right after all. Ha! My loyal listeners have called in reports of Spider-Man recklessly vandalizing public works, smashing open power relay boxes and other structures relating to important public and private services. Some have even said it appears he's looking for something, but he never leaves with anything. My friends, I think it might be time to consider that Spider-Man might just be a few sprinkles short of a sundae. Not that dressing up like a bug and swinging around the city is the behavior of a well-adjusted individual, but now, either he's looking for things that aren't there, meaning he's delusional, or he's venting uncontrollable rage. And either one of those possibilities means it's time to call the man in the white coats with big butterfly nets. That's still a thing, right, Jared? What do you mean it never was? Another day, another piece of priceless New York architecture destroyed by none other than Spider-Man, the Webbed Wonder. Was the Harlem Sanitarium in the best condition? No. Did the doctors there at one point commit horrible atrocities against their patients? Probably. Does that mean we should let spandex-suited vigilantes swing willy-nilly through a piece of our history? I think not. It is our duty, nay, our responsibility to maintain these shameful monuments to our past, because that's the America that I call home. like I said to my doctor when she recently told me to calm down, I won't, and I'll tell you why. I'm certain the police could have handled whatever petty argument was going down at the sanitarium without the destructive force of the webhead's wacky weapons. What say you, New York? We're here to talk about a hot-button issue today, folks, and that's crime boss Hammerhead. It turns out that petty argument at the Harlem Sanitarium was actually a Magia smackdown against this flat-topped flop. But here's the thing about Hammerhead, valued listeners. He might be an unhinged, rampaging cop killer who my assistant Jared keeps calling a beta, for reasons that I'm certain must be shark-related, but he has some interesting ideas. What's so wrong with pining for the good old days? Hammerhead wants to bring New York back to a time where people didn't get offended by everything, and spiders were just bugs you killed in your apartment, and I didn't have to take blood pressure medication. Now, if we could just stop him from destroying the city and its citizens in the process, wow, that would be great! Today, on Just the Facts with J. Jonah Jameson, the Magia are turning the streets of Manhattan into a gang war. Why, you ask? Because nobody listened to me when they had the chance. If we just cleaned up the city, returned to our collective senses, and run Spider-Man out of town, not necessarily in that order, then a psychopathic crime boss wouldn't be wrecking New York in some misguided pursuit of that same goal. Look, Hammerhead's impulse to take us back to a simpler time before any of us had heard of web shooters isn't wrong, but his methods are obscene. Attacking the police, terrifying citizens, the man gives simpler times a bad name. Like this infernal sodium-free beverage I'm being forced by the medical establishment to drink for my health gives soda a bad name. And meanwhile, where's our city's so-called savior, Spider-Man, in all this? I need to lay down. Friends, our streets are safer than ever before, thanks to the tireless efforts of the swinging spectacle, Spider-Man. Oh, just kidding! Our streets are actually in more literal danger than they've ever been, because it seems like someone made Hammerhead's idiot men resort to digging up roads in the middle of rush hour! It's clear that the only way crime boss Hammerhead thinks he can get people to listen to his pleas for a return to decency is by actually razing this city to the ground. And while I frankly find the sentiment admirable, just like my doctor thinks it's admirable that I've cut back on alcohol consumption, I think we can all agree that we'd much rather get home on time and alive than late and dead. Meanwhile, Spider-Man, it seems, is actively assisting the Magia during all this. Spider-Man or Spider-Mob? You decide. First of all, I'd just like to make it clear that I am perfectly capable of running this show alone and absolutely know how to work this computer by myself. Shut it, Jared, I'm getting to it. But you, loyal listeners, should know that I choose not to. I'm getting to it. And that's why I have decided, of my own accord, that's enough, Jared, to bring my assistant, Jared, back to the Just the Facts with J. Jonah Jameson operation. And to apologize to him on the air, which is what I'm doing now. Right now. And are you serious? Are you really doing this right now, you little...
And a raise.
And to give him a raise. Tune back in soon for more Just the Facts with J. Jonah Jameson. Now, typically, I don't like to trash talk other... Who put this note here? What's a content creator? That means nothing, Jared. Those are two meaningless words that put together make one meaningless phrase, Jared. What I'm trying to say, listeners, is that I don't speak ill of other extremely famous and influential New Yorkers like myself. But we need to get one thing straight. Screwball is a menace to this city, just barely surpassed by Spider-Man himself. Do they hand channels out to just anybody these days? This purple-haired punk is allowed to run rampant online, and if she isn't kept in line, she's going to cause a total societal collapse. I can't tell you what to do, fine listeners, and I would never suggest you do anything borderline illegal. But if Screwball's channel just so happened to be shut down and she was never able to broadcast again, I think that would be a fine way to protect your city. Finer than anything Spider-Man's ever bothered to do for us. Well, folks, seems I have a retraction to make. Some of my previous comments about finding Hammerhead's ideas interesting, because he wants to make this beautiful city respectable again, may have been taken out of context. Hammerhead is a violent and poorly dressed murderer who, it turns out, has actually been stealing superpowered weapons in order to rule this city by force in a sort of coup d'etat that I'm certain no one could have seen coming. Especially, apparently, Spider-Man. Now I stand behind everything I said about admiring Hammerhead's motivations. Kids these days need to put down their smartphones and stop their floss dancing and get jobs like the rest of us did at 8 years old to learn some responsibility. And I think we can all agree that his methods belong in the trash can, and weapons should stay out of discussions about decency. All I have to say is that none of this would have happened if Spider-Man had just stayed off the streets in the first place. I don't know how exactly, but I know it's true. And now I'm going to bed.
He's going to bed. Like, on his desk. Right off the broadcast. But yeah, I can agree with that little part, you know. Kill the floss dance and, like, everyone, you know, having a job. Like, that's... I can get behind on that for sure. If I can find this J.J. Just the Facts, right, somewhere in the game, and I can see him broadcasting live, which is very, very like guaranteed to not happen and very unlikely. But if that were to like be the case, I could see that. I'd love to see him like broadcast live, talk trash like about me and everybody else and whatever like pisses him off, and then I would love to see him just flip the hell out at the same time, just like how he's screaming into the mic or screaming, you know, at everything and everybody. I would love to see him just flip out, throw things, and just yell into the mic and at Jared and everything like that. Just, I don't know. I feel like that'd be kind of like somehow humorous or interesting or funny, oddly, for some odd, strange reason. I don't know.
So,
but
you have some work-related stress. Well, you came to the right place. That's my specialty.
So they tell me.
Give me some more specifics about how you're feeling.
Guess you could say I put a lot of pressure on myself. I like to be the best. Plus, I have a very demanding boss.
What kind of work do you do?
Everything here stays confidential, right?
Of course.
Good. Because if any of this gets out, you're a dead man.
I'm feeling a little uncomfortable. I think we should end the session.
Sorry, Doc. I didn't mean to scare you. I've just been paranoid lately. Like I said, stressful job.
Okay. Tell me a little bit more about your job. Describe a typical day.
Typical day? I guess it starts with waking up, checking my phone, see what the boss wants me to hit that day. Then I go grab breakfast. I've been trying to do that keto thing, you know? Then I do the hits. Sometimes it's messy, so I gotta head home and clean up. I try to get to the gym in the afternoon, then dinner, and I...
Sorry, can you go back for a moment? What does do a hit mean exactly?
It means I kill who my boss tells me to. I'm pretty good at it by now. Got quite the resume. So what do you think, Doc?
Well, clinically, you're a sociopath. You have no remorse for your actions. You clearly are not stressed. I doubt you think there's actually anything wrong with you. So, why did you really come see me today?
You're smart. I like that. Okay, let's get right to it then. You do what I tell you, and I won't kill your family.
You want to get right to it? Okay then. I know why you're really here. I knew who you were the minute you walked in that door. And I also know that before I do anything for you, you're gonna do something for me. welcome back. Have a seat. So, did you bring the,
Yeah. Hope this takes care of your cash flow problem.
Right. It most certainly does. Thank you. So, I assume you came to me because I have a few police officers as clients.
You assume correct. But my boss and I are only interested in one of them.
And who might that be?
Captain Yuri Watanabe.
Here's Captain Watanabe's file.
This everything?
Yes.
You ever record her sessions?
No, I never record any sessions. That'd be unethical and illegal.
Well, we'd like you to record her next session. And my boss has a list of questions he'd like you to ask. That gonna be a problem for you?
No problem. Okay, Yuri, let's move on. Have your obsessive thoughts about the suspect continued?
Yes. Sometimes I feel like I've almost got him. And sometimes I feel like I'll never get him.
Are you doing your breathing exercises?
Trying to.
But...
I know who he is. I know where he is. And I know what he's done. But I can't do anything. Not without legally admissible evidence.
That must be frustrating.
You have no idea. You have no idea.
That's it?
Yes. I mean, we talked a little bit about her medication, but...
When is the next session?
Why? What are you going to do?
I'm gonna do whatever my boss tells me to do.
You seem nervous.
Yeah, well, the chief knew I was working undercover with you. I can't afford to lose my job. Maybe I should be the one doing breathing exercises.
Don't worry. I won't tell if you don't. Also, you're doing great. You're a very authentic-looking doctor.
Thanks, I think.
You think he knows you were wearing a wire?
If he does, he's a hell of a good liar.
He's a Magia enforcer. We know he's a good liar. Question is, does he know he's being lied to?
We'll find out tomorrow, I guess. You sure about all this?
We catch him in the act of trying to murder a police officer, he gets put away for life.
Hey, Captain.
You ready for this?
Ready as I'll ever be. I'm all wired up, on my way to the office. Just picking up a coffee first.
Okay. Drinks are on me when this is done.
Looking forward to it, Captain. Hi, can I just get a large coffee?
Hey there, Doc. Who's that you were just talking to?
Oh. Hey.
I told you, I just helped manufacture these things. I didn't design them.
Guess we got the wrong guy then. On the bright side, now we got our first test subject.
No! No! Don't turn it on! Please! Just give me a few minutes. I can figure it out.
Now that's what I like to hear. That cop almost killed me. I thought you said I'd be indestructible.
I said almost indestructible. After all, you're still human.
Then make me less human.
I'm not sure what you mean.
I mean what I said. Now get to work. All this stuff belongs to Sable?
Yeah, most of it's overseas, though. What are you thinking, boss?
I'm thinking about how she took over the whole city in a matter of days.
You mean back during that Devil's Breath thing? Yeah, that was crazy.
Not so crazy when you got the right equipment.
Well, we got those digging things.
Not good enough. If we want the best stuff, we're gonna need her.
Yeah, okay. How are we gonna do that?
Just keep taking her stuff. She'll come to us.
Spider-Man is a failure. You might think this would make me happy, and to some extent you'd be absolutely right. But today, I am tired. Tired of all the senseless violence continually afflicting our streets, which that masked menace failed to put an end to. He failed to stop Hammerhead and his men, who are now using stolen Sable International weaponry to wreak more havoc than ever. And speaking of Sable, Miss Abuse of Power herself is back in New York, this time aboard some kind of fancy schmancy gunship. Where was that when the city was cowering under the terror inflicted by Martin Lee and Otto Octavius, huh? Collecting dust in a Simcarian warehouse? It's a shame she and Spider-Man couldn't have done us all a favor and just taken each other out. Folks, we need to talk more about this live-streaming egomaniac screwball. It's bad enough her show features and glorifies that narcissistic webhead Spider-Man, but her shows, if you can even call them that, are putting hard-working New Yorkers in harm's way just so she can gain followers, whatever that means. Can't you see her ridiculous stunts are nothing more than a desperate ploy for attention? Come on, folks, you're smarter than that. By watching her shows, you're literally hurting yourselves. So, you ask, what should we do instead, Jonah? Here's an idea. Tune into my show instead. The only thing I'll hurt you with is the truth. Damn, that's a good line. Write that one down, Jared. Let's use it in the next promo. It turns out traditional media isn't dead quite yet. Not that any of my listeners ever had a doubt. They're used to getting world-class content on a regular basis. But I'm, of course, talking about Screwball and her live-streaming band of bandits finally getting yanked off the air, or the web, whatever. The point is, we can all once again rest easy knowing we don't have to live in constant crippling fear of the awful sound of a so-called internet personality spewing nonsensical acronyms into the Ethernet. Internet! Whatever! How is this for a meme, Screwball? Goodbye! What do you mean that's not a meme? Of course it is, I just made it one. No, Jared, I said I wanted crushed ice, not... What do you mean we're live? Oh. Haha! Listeners, brushheads, stop me if you heard this one before. Spider-Man just chased a bunch of thugs through the streets, putting citizens in danger and leaving millions in property damage in his wake. And this time, he had a little help from a certain silver-haired vigilante who turned the financial district into her own personal shooting gallery with a flying death machine. But that's not the worst of it, folks. Oh no. What could be worse, you ask? The traffic, the gridlock. It was so bad that yours truly missed a very important dental appointment. Now I have to wait 6 months for the next opening. How many other people miss dental appointments because of this? Dozens? Hundreds? Thousands? Which, of course, leads us to the obvious conclusion. Spider-Man causes tooth decay. Reports are flying in about an incident in Midtown involving, you guessed it, Spider-Man. It's the same old story, same old menace. But here's a terrifying little wrinkle. My sources tell me that the Maggia crime boss Hammerhead has now gone, and I quote, full cyborg. First we have robotic octopuses, and now a meched up Maggia? Whatever happened to the good old days when criminals would just put on a dime store mask, stick their finger in their pocket, and try to rob a bank? Oh, right! Spider-Man happened! Today is a fine day in New York City. At long last, Hammerhead has been taken down for good, cyborg parts and all. I will even give Spider-Man and Silver Sable an ounce of credit. They did, after all, land the final blow. However, while the mainstream media trips over itself to heap lavish praise on these vigilantes, allow me to give you a dose of facts. Hammerhead would have never gotten this far had it not been for Silver Sable leaving behind all her gear in the city. And don't get me started on Spider-Man stoking the fires of a gang war and forcing a decorated police captain into administrative leave. So sure, they cleaned up the mess, but they were also the ones that made it. Jared, call my doctor and double all my prescriptions. I'm in the red here, folks. Eyewitnesses have confirmed that there is no longer just one Spider-Man, but 2 of them! I mean, one is bad enough, but I'm having a hard time dealing with the idea of multiple menaces swinging through our beautiful city. It's just... Jared, I might be having a heart attack. I need to lie down, folks. No, don't call an ambulance. It's too expensive. Call a cab. I have a coupon in my wallet. Don't go in my wallet, Jared! I'll do it! I'll do it! This is it, folks. This is the big one. I finally have proof. For years, I have asked my dear listeners to send in photographic evidence to prove, once and for all, that Spider-Man is directly linked to the very criminals who plague our city. And finally, one brave anonymous caller has delivered the goods. We have clear photos of Spider-Man standing in the immediate vicinity of caches of humanitarian aid. Aid that was intended for Symkaria. And our heroic caller assures me that these very humanitarian caches are being sold on the black market. If I've learned one thing in my years as a world-renowned reporter, it's this. Photos don't lie. Spider-Man has been caught red-handed. No pun intended, puns are for wimps. So what do we do about it, you ask? We wait. We wait for the police to finally wake up and arrest this mass lunatic. At long last, this city is going to finally see that Jameson has been right about Spider-Man this entire time. Not only is he a thief, he's actually stealing vital food and medicine from innocent civilians who are trapped in a war zone. Women and children struggling to survive, hiding each day from a hail of mortars and bullets. Meanwhile, Spider-Man is stealing the very aid that might keep them alive. This is a new low, people. Even I could never have suspected Spider-Man of something this despicable. All we can do now as a city is to sit back and quietly reflect on just how right J. Jonah Jameson really was. Yet again.
Alexei, I've followed your career with great interest. The world sees you as a witless dullard. I see a warrior with a poet's heart. I know you desire freedom from the battlesuit you're sealed inside. Help me achieve my goals, and freedom shall be yours. It's rare for me to admit this, Mr. Gargan. Clearing your debts was more difficult than I anticipated. You're in arrears to some demanding individuals. But once the reservoir job is finished, your financial obligations will be finished as well. Otto Octavius is nothing if not persuasive. Adrian, what bitter irony that your miraculous wings should have wrought such horrors on your body. Thankfully, you are now working for me. When our work is settled, the treatment I've developed will cure you. You won't shuffle off this mortal coil just yet, my friend. Max, when you first conveyed your dream to me, I thought you insane. Pure energy. But as I dove deeper into the problem, I discovered a way to give us both what we desire. I promise you, when we are done, you will be pure energy. Or so close to it as to make the difference irrelevant. Norman. Feel like I can't turn around without seeing his face. He smiles for the cameras, collects his accolades, and keeps his boot heel pressed against my neck. Why can't anyone else see how selfish he is? How reckless? How evil? If only they could be made to see the Norman I know. The man behind the mask.
Can feel my power growing. Feeding off my anger. Father would say I've lost the path of balance, but he could never understand. The only way to fight a monster is to become one.
Today's the day. Grant review. We're ready. The work has progressed at a remarkable pace. I honestly never thought we'd get the tensile actuator back to an acceptable tolerance. But Parker, the boy has an eye for guerrilla science like none other. Just as I was ready to order a custom machine replacement part, he returned from the hardware store with a bottle of solvent and a toothbrush. Bang! Actuator problem resolved. The boy is a genius. A chronically late genius. It's already 10 after. Where is he? Surely he couldn't have forgotten today's review. Peter is starting to suspect. He hides it, but I can tell. He's seen my twitch, noticed the decay of my fine motor control. Well,
I'm the one who wanted a genius for an assistant. Of course he knows. I just need more time. My work can improve millions of lives. Save millions of lives. It can also save my own. I just need more time. Peter, thank you again for doing these blind reviews. Peer review is the backbone of great science. You know, as we've prepped for the upcoming fitting, I felt an itch in the back of my brain. Is this really the best method of limb replacement? Silly, I know, but I keep thinking, might there be another way? The grant review was a debacle, yes, but it may also prove to be the inspiration I need. We can no longer simply meet the committee's expectations. We must exceed them. Damn it! Why do I keep repeating the same mistake over and over? Norman Osborn cannot be trusted. In matters large and small, if Norman has the chance to profit off another man's loss, he'll take it. It's infuriating. Someday I'll turn the tables. I'll teach Norman what it is to feel helpless and small. Peter. Oh, Peter. Don't even know why I'm bothering to record this. Norman has neutered us, and soon the lab will be out of funds. We were on the verge of such great things. If we had just a bit more time and money, I know all the ideas in our heads would have come pouring. Wait. Ideas in our heads. My God, Peter, that's it! Parker, we've been focused on limb replacement, connecting nerves at severed extremities, replicating the function of lost appendages. But what if instead we gave people something they've never seen? Something straight from the mind. Unchain all of us from the bodies we've been born with, and instead unleash the awesome power of our minds. The device will need two parts to function. The first will be an entirely original prosthesis, a modular system of microcables able to take on any number of forms, whatever the user can imagine. The second part, and this, Peter, is the true genius, is a direct neural interface, a direct tap straight into the basal ganglia. Unleash the brain, from your mind to reality. This goes beyond limb replacement, Peter. This will free all of us from the shackles of our bodies. Like your webbed friend, soon we'll all be capable of living our most amazing fantasies. Parker says the interface is dangerous, but the boy's a neophyte. Never truly created anything. Thinks we can stay on the sidelines, avoiding the mud. Men died to found this nation. They died to get us to the moon. Every great push forward demands blood. And this next push, this push to rid ourselves of Norman's stink, it may yet be the bloodiest of them all. Parker. Always listening, aren't you? Always observing, memorizing, stealing. Who have you told about the neural interface, About my work? Well, it stops here, Parker. I trusted you. But instead of recognizing my genius, what did you do? Tried to tear it down. Accused it of flaws. There are no flaws. It's a thing of beauty. A perfect extension of the mind itself into the world. Thought given form by these incredible arms. And I have only one thought on my mind now. Norman's reputation lying in tatters before me. Time to give it shape.
Happy birthday, dear. Sorry I'm a little late. It's been a busy month. I miss you, Em. Especially today. I've put Harry... I've sent him away. For treatment. We'll fix him, Em. I promise. Development of GR-27 was too slow to save you. It won't fail Harry. I'm keeping his room exactly as it is, ready for when he gets back. The key is with you, Em. I know you'll keep it safe. Norman Osborn, GR-27 research log. The whole project has gone to hell. GR-27 is a cure, not a disease. But try telling that to the evening news. Somehow, they've picked up the technician's morbid nickname, Devil's Breath, and are using it to stoke hysteria. They have no idea what it's really capable of. A cure for cancer, genetic disorders, birth defects. With just a little more research, I know we could perfect it. Instead, I'll spend the next 18 months on PR mop-up. What a waste of time.
Oh my god, I think some of this is kind of funny, just because it's like when some of these people like end up like proving him wrong, and about like how proving JJ wrong about how Spider-Man's actually right and doing the right things or whatever. That's when it seems like he's always like, no, you're wrong. Cut to commercial. He doesn't have anything else to back it up with, and that's funny. But okay. So, the majority of the reason for why I went through all the audio recording archives, whatever, is because, like, ever since I started, like, part 1, act 1, whatever you want to call it, all the way through the game and whatnot till, the credits as I beat it, there was, like, multiple, various amount of recordings, that would, as JJ would always like try and speak or say something, and then I would either not care, or a mission would very likely start up or whatever, and then that's when I would end up missing what he would say, and as well as I would say the DLCs. So with that being in mind, that's when I believe I checked in the DLC to see like if it was possible to listen to all of the audios that I've missed. Pretty much that's the whole idea. So whatever, if possible, and that does mean like going from the very first one, even though like most of them have been very likely heard already. There's ones that I like, the majority, like a good 90% of that I do not recall like listening or hearing him talk about whatever. So that's kind of where it's like, as I go back and listen to all that, the majority is just whoever would like, as if you would like to hear the like all of the audios from JJ and or this or whatever from Otto or whoever kind of thing. Well, that's why I'm kind of doing this, to see the audios I've missed. Otherwise, resources I've got, okay, well, total I don't need to see. I can see what that 26 research tokens, 6 landmark tokens, 20, like thing to see. These are 100% totally useless. The reason why, like, you can have like a whole lot more extra left over, just because it's like through the story as you're doing these missions. I mean, these are optional side missions and whatever, so I mean, as you don't have to, you just kind of play the game, and then if you do want to unlock, obviously if you want to unlock more outfits or whatever, like I believe it's just outfits that that's what these cost anyway. It's just like straight up outfits. So that like thing is, because it was my first point doing it, so I wanted to get everything done from side missions or whatever, and then that's what I did. So that's why I don't really feel like going through all the suits, but not a single oh my god, not a single thing is locked. All the suit powers are 100% unlocked. Suit mods, yes. Now the thing is, I don't know. I remember I was trying to change this, I think, for the last mission, like either these two or the bottom two, and then every time I kept trying to change it, it wouldn't let me for some stupid reason. Whatever, that's fine. And all the gadgets 100% good to go. Obviously, skills, like this is just those 3 tabs are just like an obvious, like I've been in that section way too bloody much. Missions, nothing. Collections, I'm overfilled on that, just because again, as you could do in the DLC, right, as well. So if you like want to unlock one you didn't get the chance to before, either if you have the DLC or not, you can still like do some after, like there's still things to do after you beat the game, not just beat people up, but you know, you do these challenges and then, you know, gives you something to do, I guess, for obviously because there's no you know, other missions or whatever. But backpack, oh my Christ, 55 things.
Menu from my first real date with MJ. Wish I could have afforded someplace fancier, but she didn't seem to mind.
Right, this is gonna be like a long, oh my Jesus, because I'm at like an hour and 20 or so, and there's still quite a bit more. So I mean, this is oh my Jesus, this is gonna take quite a little bit. Oh my, right, this is all the backpacks. So it's like the 55 backpacks that goes around the entire city. So this shouldn't be too long, but adding like everything else to this, like side missions and like everything else I've done before, kind of thing. Oh boy.
Funny, my fear of heights didn't go away when I got my powers. Had to climb to the top of the Empire State to get over that.
Oh really? Oh, okay. Made in Japan, made in China. No.
An Oscorp visitor badge from when I interviewed there. Would have paid well, but Dr. Octavius offered the chance to really make a difference.
Expires on November 21st, 2015. I believe this is when the game was made and supposed to release as well, I think. But then it released 4 years later or something like that. Oh my god, I don't know. That's his like user, right? Oscar Pinderell 07.
I could never give this prototype spider tracer enough range to be useful. But I did adapt the tech into my web traps, which really come in handy. When MJ and I applied for this lease, I thought we'd move in together. Instead, we broke up. I can be pretty oblivious sometimes.
You know, it's so HD and clear, you can pretty much like read like a good amount of like private chat on there.
Tried mixing up a prototype web fluid at Oscorp while Harry had his internship there. Didn't work. That place has always been bad luck for me. Used these electrician's gloves in my first fight with Electro. Gave me the idea to add insulation to my costume, which saved my bacon more than once.
Hands up.
My ESU ID badge from my semester as a teaching assistant. Didn't have time to stick with it, but I could definitely see teaching again someday.
Oh. I want to say that's July? No, that's August 2013.
Maybe this'll help me balance work and a personal life, if I ever find time to read it.
Work-life balance radius. That's so sexy.
The infamous dumpling recipe. Should have come with step 10. Try not to burn everything in MJ's apartment.
Okay, well there. If you want to actually go for it and read it, maybe like give it a shot, go for it. It's kind of hard to read. I can't really go up or down with it.
My Wilson Fisk Science Prize trophy. And check. I couldn't turn it down without arousing suspicion, but no way was I going to take his money, even though we could have used it. I did accept the lifetime supply of backpacks, though. Spider plushie! Oh, a toy designer made this prototype to get me to license my likeness. Too bad there's no way to get paid without revealing my identity.
Aww.
All I did was save this kid's balloon from floating away, and he made me this. It's the little things that make it all worth it.
My god. Just spit on it. Such an asshole. Well, there's a little bit of writing on it. No, never mind. That's just going through the paper. Thank you, Spidey. You know, when I was 2 years old, I could draw so much better. Got so douchey.
My injured shoulder eventually healed. The bill took a lot longer to pay.
What does that say? I can't. Is that 2360? Hold on a sec. It's 22,368. 2478. 2478 is what it is. Okay. Oh, no, okay, I see what I'm gonna do. 2,368. Okay, wait, what does the other one say? Balance. Okay. No, what was that issued? I have no idea. Okay. I should probably have some sort of this is a huge TV, but for some reason I still can't. It's like small print. So if I maybe had, let me give that a shot for a second. I'm gonna throw on these. Like I'm gonna throw my monocle on, see if I can read this. No, that's just more blurry. I think no, actually, it's hard to say. I can slightly see a bit better. 2368. It's like a bit of a magnifying glass. 2368, right? Something like that. Okay, I don't know. Just have to try it. Okay, too much time wasted.
Harry's VIP card for the nightclub. Harry always tried to include me.
Using this card at the deep end, it tells you some point. Tells you some great benefits. Please check it out online. Blah blah. Okay, enjoy your deep end. 2015. Damn.
I bought this used graphing calculator at a pawn shop. Stopped working in the middle of a trig exam. You get what you pay for. Superheroing doesn't leave much time for good hygiene. Gotta get it where I can. My underarm webs. Thought they might help me glide short distances, but they never really worked. Looked cool, though.
Oh, this was like a potential, Spider-Man. He could start to, oh my gosh, he could start flying a little bit. Oh, I don't know. I've had thoughts about that. Like, what would it be, would it be possible for Spider-Man to actually start flying oddly or whatever? That might happen at some point sooner-ish, but that might be weird at the same time. I don't know.
Wish I knew who made this comic about me. Kid's got a future.
Huh. Wait, what does that say? I mean, I don't know. Hopefully you can, decipher that if you want. Okay.
A spider signal. Cool idea, but any light source that made it bright enough was also way too hot. Someday, though. Jameson gave me this at his Bugle retirement party. I thought nobody would listen to his talk show. Shows how much I know.
I mean, it's pretty funny when he's, yelling and crying, bitching, moaning, barking. I don't know. I found it somewhat humorous, I guess.
Oh man! I meant to wash this gym shirt 6 years ago. You!
Yay. Oh my god. That's crazy. Good stuff, man. So this is... well, it doesn't show any of it new, because I thought it was kind of highlighted after I, select it and, examine the item, then it would, not be highlighted anymore, but I don't know.
Rhino almost killed me until I broke this chip off his horn and figured out what his costume's made of. Still wasn't easy to beat him. My back still aches just thinking about it.
Right. Now, thing is, though, I don't recall myself examining any of this stuff, maybe a couple things, before, during the playthrough, but, I mean, I think that's what I'm kind of doing. I kind of go from one end all the way to the other side of on the other side, and then, down each row to get them all. So I don't know what's new, what's not. I'm sure they're all, new things to check out.
Hey, my Mark I web shooters. Managed to improve the storage capacity a lot since then, but the basic design's still the same.
Oh, okay. That's interesting. That's what goes on his wrist, and then he just kind of puts his two fingers on that, and then that's where the little... It looks like a microphone or something, but it just kind of shoots out. I see. It's actually pretty cool.
Rejected costume designs. Not bad, but I think the White Spider was definitely the way to go.
So again, my correction, I think maybe, but I have 25 more to go. That's not too bad. So, if I'm correct, right, this section is from in the backpacks. So, in the beginning or whatnot, as like I was supposed to collect all the backpacks, you know, to get the one outfit or whatever, and I got the trophy. This is every item that was in the backpack as I would collect it. It's just thing is this was like a side thing as well. Like everything basically was pretty much like part of the side stuff that I was like keeping off screen, and then I would like somewhat do afterwards. It wasn't like filmed off screen kind of thing, but I just kind of did it, and then, you know, I mean, you know, like, yeah, okay, it's just, so I really can't remember, like, I just kind of collected and moved on. I wasn't exactly watching to see what would come up kind of thing, but okay, whatever.
This piece of Mysterio's helmet gave me ideas for my eye lenses. Go ahead, sue me, fishbowl head.
Mysterio's, huh? I don't know, I'm kind of still reflecting on Spider-Man 2's playthrough for Mysterio. I mean, that was a bit of a cringe-ish playthrough. Oh my god, I don't know what I was thinking. Like, I mean, I kind of reviewed that playthrough, I'm just like, oh my god, no. That was just, in some way, sense, kind of meh. I mean, it was great, but I mean, at the same time, it was like, oh god. I mean, if you check it out and watch, I mean, I'm sure you'll know. Oh god, I feel kind of horrible about it. Quite bad, actually.
The Spidey Squad. My one and only fan club. When Jameson's going off on me, it helps to remember they're out there.
Looks like a ring. Damn.
Gotta have something to do on stakeouts.
Looks like a Nintendo Switch. Oh. This is like in his house. Because the reflection is at the window. Okay. Yeah, this looks like the Nintendo PSP Switch. Nintendo Wii U PSP Switch. You know, just kind of thinking about like these different. Oh, and there's okay. So there's a window here. Oh my God! There's like. So that's another window. That's interesting. That's really, really weird how it's like I'm seeing the reflection in the back. Window there. This is definitely gotta be at his house. Like it's weird as I'm looking through like this stuff, and it's just like it shows a reflection in his house. But I mean, I don't know why I can't access his house. Maybe I can. I'm gonna try that and see if that is a possibility. I doubt it by like a long shot, but it's just interesting. Just really kind of makes me interested because I as I look at this stuff and I kind of get more elaboration on like, you know, just the background. It just looks like like it's blue and it looks like a bunch of stars. And I look at the PSP screen, or I call it PSP, but as I look at this and it's just like, you know, you see the reflection of his inside the house, man. Like the H, and the only time you get to see the inside his house was when it was in the prologue, the very first cutscene. Yeah, so window there, move it over. And then a door there, or that's just another window or something. That's kind of messed up. And let's see, I like how the screen's all like mucked up with like a bit of, you know, it's kind of dirty with, well, it's just mucked up with his fingerprints and like other crap or whatever. But I'm just surprised it's not all clean or whatever. But that's what about the, I'm looking at the buttons to see if it's the same thing. Analogs, I'm not sure, but that is a huge goddamn tablet. I mean, at the same time, it just depends on, you know, you zoom in on it, yeah, it's going to look kind of huge-ish, but then if you zoom out and also compare the hands, I mean, it could look like a normal, you know, thing, but, I don't know, perspective, you know.
I beat this wrestler right after getting my powers. Never had that much money before in my life. Or since, come to think of it.
Really? $100 to the man who can stay in the ring for 3 minutes with Crusher Hogan, New York Sports Arena, 555-0145. This is supposed to be like a reference back to the very first one, like, you know, Macho Man Randy Savage. Ooh yeah, you gotta stay in the ring with him for a little bit and survive. And then he's got that little, the original Peter Parker, Tobey Maguire. He's got that little girl outfit on, and then oh my gosh. Okay, I mean, I don't know. That might be an Easter egg to a reference to the first movie, but to take a part of this as a side mission or, you know, some sort of other event, like, that would be pretty cool. If I can call that number and make that happen, like, oh my god, hell yeah, I'd be in. And then I would just destroy everybody, even for a couple of bucks. Why not? Or, you know, just for the hell of it. But yeah,
MJ wrote this article in the school paper about student protests. She was a heck of a journalist even then.
Okay, if you wish to read, go for it. Okay.
Captain Watanabe gave me her cell number when she finally decided to trust me.
Huh.
She's risking a lot. If anyone finds out she's helping me, she'll lose her job.
Yuriko Watanabe, captain of police. Ooh, 555. This, like, it seems like every number in this game is straight 555. I'm not sure if that's actually the New York, you know, like, area code number or whatever, but, like, I know that's just the beginning. That's not the area code, but just the way how it seems to be all 555. Like, at the same time, it's just a game, so it could be just 222-222 hotline, and then they just, you know, put it as that. But I don't know, like, that seems like, oh my gosh, a hell of a okay. 555s, 0168, 0116, 0108. Okay.
My prom boutonniere. Crushed when I had to fight Fisk. That kind of symbolizes my luck with relationships.
Crushed when I fought Fisk. Huh. I guess he had it, like, somewhere in his tights, or his shoes, or maybe his underwear, just waiting to give it to Fisk, but he had, like, that plan just went totally awry. I mean, feel bad for you, Pete. That's, unfortunate, I guess.
Aunt May's recipe for wheat cakes. I could never make it work on my own.
I'm sorry, I cannot read that. If you wish to attempt to read that, then go ahead. There you go, perfect. Go for it. Peter Favut, or something like that. It's hard to read that. Sorry, Aunt May, or Uncle May, whatever.
People know my parents died in a plane crash.
Oh, really?
I still can't tell anyone they were government agents. Wish I knew more about them. I wish anyone did.
Huh. For some reason, I thought that was supposed to be like a realistic version of, like, Peter Parker and then Mary Jane kind of thing. And it's weird because it's like I actually really oh boy, this is gonna be weird, but it's like I actually never really knew what fully happened to, like, you know, ever since the beginning of the movie is what the very first one. It's like just kind of hit me like, it's, you know, he's always been with his aunt and uncle or whatnot, and it's like, you know, what happened to his mom and dad? What happened to his parents? And, you know, it was just to me like, you know, I don't know, they didn't want him, or they somehow, like, died by I'm like, dying was just kind of like relatively, I guess, the obvious, but it was like how they died kind of thing. And I don't know, like, he doesn't want anyone knowing. What does MJ know, or does she not? That's a big secret he's keeping from her, eh? Okay, anyways.
Took a bullet from the cops back when they thought I was working with Electro. Good thing textbooks are thick. Too bad they're also expensive.
As well as expired. Lame joke he made earlier on. And that was a DLC, I believe. Yeah.
I thought web swinging would let me get pizzas delivered fast. And it did. Fast and smashed.
Spider-Man 2. Side missions. Oh my god, that was just... I don't know. I mean, I actually completed that too. Oh my god. That was like 6 years ago or something like that. Jesus H. The unfortunate part is there, like, I think that's what people are also upset about. Like, there was no side missions for any pizza missions. Like, I don't know. That's a bit of a letdown, but I mean, there's still somehow a potential possible additional side mission, like throw in, like, I mean, I don't know how that would turn out. Maybe in the sequel to this, because obviously in the ending, you know, pretty much leading up for that. So I feel like in the next couple of years I might start working on that. Maybe they were already, but I mean, I don't know. I guess we'll find out.
When the vulture cracked my eye lens, it almost blinded me. That was a wake-up call. Had to upgrade to a stronger material.
It's kind of interesting to see what's, like, behind this, like, because, you know, when he, like, squints his eyes too, like, this is, like, pretty mechanical eyes, so, you know, it's yeah, like, you squint your eyes, and then, you know, the frame of this will squint as well, kind of thing. So it's, like, kind of curious to how that would work, and I kind of want to, like, have my own, you know, kind of thing like that. Anyways, it was just like in the beginning of the game when he was like squinting and blah blah kind of thing, like, and then it was just like, you know, pay your bills kind of thing. But
the jammer I whipped up to jam Vulture's wings. Too bad he improved them after that.
Jammer, eh? I mean, I still took his ass out, so I mean, it's okay. I mean, that's all that really matters.
With this vial of the lizard's blood, I was able to mix up a cure and turn him back into Dr. Connors. Too bad it didn't last.
Aw. Bloody hell.
Fisk beat the hell out of me with these. I almost used them for evidence, until MJ pointed out I was trespassing, so I'd probably end up in jail. Typical Parker luck.
Huh. I didn't realize that Fisk was using brass knuckles. These look a bit too small to fit those ogre hands. I mean, sausage fingers, sorry, or whatever, you know? It's like, oh my. But, those look pretty nice. I'd like to get a set of my own. Oh.
Almost forgot I bought this snow globe for Aunt May. I think I get my love for this city from her.
That is so cool. So sexy and sweet. You know, it would be even like a little bonus to have a little spider swinging from those buildings, you know, maybe, or just somewhere, like, maybe he is in there somewhere. I can't zoom in, out, or rotate anywhere except for, you know, a 360. But it's okay, it's okay.
My thesis paper on neurotechnology. This got me the job with Dr. Octavius.
Oh, should I be sad? That sounds unfortunate. I'm sorry. A-. I'm not too sure what that says. Who? Sincere. What the hell does that say? Secure. Piet Warren? Okay, well, you know, with this having small printing, there's only so much I can really try and zoom in and read. But by Peter Parker. Yeah, I don't know. I have no idea what the hell that says. I can only go so far before it's like, you know what, whatever. I'll have to like try and like see that in the edits or whatever, but it's fine. Oh my god, I'm so close.
The last ball game Uncle Ben ever took me to. I need to get this framed. I could really use his advice now.
No refunds. Yeah, it's a pain in the ass. I mean, you can like trade your tickets apparently. Event code AM300. That was $75. You better be sitting in a hell of a nice seat. Yet again, they are stupidly expensive. Friday, April 23rd, 2010. Oh my god, 10 years ago. Jesus H. Christ. Section, lower, no, left, 212, seat 28, row 5, admission 75, section, I don't know, I guess that's left. I mean, ticket, okay. Men's basketball tortures, New York versus Los Angeles, Roxanne Stadium, games times TBA. And it just repeats the same bloody thing everywhere. It's like section, row, and seat. I mean, I get wrestling tickets, And I mean, it has relatively a bit more detail than just saying the same thing everywhere. Like, you know, admission, section, full, row, seat. It's like, oh my gosh. But it's not that small either. It's a bit bigger. And yeah, that's what I'm saying. The price is relatively that much. And then it's like, I think that would be pretty low. If you're like, I'm not too sure on that section, though. That's something I'm not like. If it had like north or south floor or something like that, then like it would have a bit more. Then it would be more understood. I can understand it more, kind of thing. But yeah, I don't know. I would, you know, this is weird. I feel like pulling out my tickets to see like, you know, about it, but I don't feel like getting up and actually check. Anyways, whatever. That's interesting though.
After I got my powers, I didn't need my glasses anymore. Told everyone I got laser eye surgery with money from the Fisk Science Prize.
Wow, that's a hell of a... That's nice to, that's a nice way out, I guess. And I'm just thinking about... I'm looking at the reflection on there, like... Am I missing something behind me? I feel like I am. I already missed those windows, and maybe a door. What the hell is that? I want to zoom in again. Looks like... I don't know. It's just like somewhat partial reflection off the glasses there. Okay. I don't know. And over this, it looks, I don't know. I see slight bits of different things, but it's just, you know, I don't know. Kind of like a see-through, but whatever. Okay.
Got some good parts from this old cell phone. Wonder what I could accomplish with a real budget instead of dumpster diving.
Dude. This is like 2001 style, dude. This is the old generations. Like, I would take this like in a heartbeat. Oh my god, I'm not even kidding. This is like, I miss the old stuff. The new stuff is relatively cool, but at the same time, it's like, I don't know. Sometimes like people just get carried away with new stuff. Oh my god. Okay. And the abyss.
This article blaming Spider-Man for electro-killing cops was the last straw. I had to quit taking pictures that helped Jameson print lies about me.
1.5 slab rib dinner. 11 plus tax. 35 plus tax. 30 plus tax. 20 plus tax. Yeah, something I never seem to mention in the playthrough or at all through the DLC whatsoever. But it's like, I have been kind of curious just because it was, you know, through the Spider-Man series franchise that I've been playing through, like the second, third, and the amazing ones, Peter, as he's working for, you know, oh my god, J.J., he's working for Jonah Jameson, and, you know, it's kind of like, you know, for, what was it, the majority of the time I spent doing that was probably in Spider-Man 2. And then the rest of the point of time being afterwards, it was like, you know, I never happened to, you know, be in contact or work with him ever again. So it was like, what happened? And I mean, I guess because he got tired of working for him, so he left and, you know, have other things, you know, to do finally as Spider-Man or whatever. But, you know, I don't know. It was just kind of like, you know, what the H? But I mean, I guess I can, I guess I got the picture. Anyways.
This piece of the Shocker's original uniform showed me how to protect myself from his blasts. Of course, they always upgrade, don't they?
This looks like it's from Spider-Man 2. Like a piece of it anyways. Like, it could be like all wrong. Yet again, I can't like, I can't exactly remember too much of Shocker's like colorful attire. That was like in all the way held back Act 1. I don't know, I can't remember, but...
Never finished this application for the coffee bean. Would have paid more than what I'm doing now.
And what is that you are doing? Except spider stuff? I'm just kind of curious to how much Oscorp's paying him, you know, to dick around with, you know, scientifical bullshit and whatnot. I love coffee. Oh my god. I really want to check into these, like... you know, resumes and application, or like, yeah, whatever I can't read, I can probably, like, I'll definitely check into afterwards. That's gonna be good stuff, I think, I guess, or something. Okay. Can I do this? No, okay, let me just go here and then, yeah, okay, gotcha.
One of these days I'll work out a fabric that warps sound and light waves. A stealth suit would really come in handy. Supposedly, Fisk made his fortune selling these spices. I mean, they're good, but not that good.
Oh, the nutrition facts, gotta look on those. Those are the most important parts. Important facts, okay. And look at the way that this is all mucked up too on like on the lid. It's like it's all covered in like scratches and thumb marks and I would say hand, but the palm would be on top. There's still more reflections I can't really seem to make out. It's like some sort of red shit. It looks like a closet. I swear to God, this has to be in his room. I'm still gonna definitely check that out afterwards when I get the chance to. I gotta see if I can.
Every day in every way, I'm getting better and better. Why doesn't it ever feel like it?
I know.
Aw, the good luck card from when I left the Daily Bugle to go into research. Some really great people there. And Jameson.
Good luck with the new job. Can't read that. Too small. I put on my monocle, but that doesn't exactly necessarily help, I don't think. I'm not going to do it again. It's okay. Eddie Brock, does that say? Oh my Jesus H. Dude. Oh my God. Venom not appearing in this one, was it? I don't know. I'm a bit kind of like, I guess like that slight hint of him appearing. Oh my Jesus H. Would have been like, I don't know, like I think it would have been so cool in gameplay through the story. Playthrough, whatever, maybe DLC. They might actually throw a final DLC which includes Venom, which would be so freaking cool. But I don't recall. I doubt it, just because it's like, well, the last trophy I got or the last notification popped up was like, you completed the saga to this, the city that never sleeps or whatever. I mean, it's just like, it seems like I'm gonna check that out in a second, but it seems like they could have one more DLC and have Venom there, but then they can't have Screwball. They can't, like, I don't care. She was way too bloody annoying. Her voice was just like, shut the hell up. I mean, oh my God, it was like almost paralyzing to listen to. Okay, sorry. You'll need a J.J.J. Jameson. I'll miss you, Betty Brandt. I believe I know. I think I remember Betty. Yeah, she was like hitting on Peter the entire time at the Bugle. Remember us when you cure cancer? Oh, Gloria Grant. Oh my. Oh.
Hey, my first camera. I got this at a yard sale. Still uses film.
Film shot. Zoom lenses. 18 to 55 millimeter. Seems to pretty snarzy. I like it. Pee-pee. Peter. Yeah, it's pee-pee. Penis. Dude, this is old-fashioned stuff, man. Like, this is like, oh my God, I don't even know. Like, so old. And all the scratches and such. Like, I would love to take this. Like, I want to see on top of that thing, too. It's got, like, some, oh my God. Like, I'm gonna, like, fangirl and shite. Oh! So good, man. Oh my God, yes. 2 more bloody things and then I gotta move on to some other stuff.
Still not sure if opening this would set the Sandman free, but I'm in no hurry to find out.
Oh, really? This is what you oddly used to catch Sandman? Since when? Sorry, I may be somehow, like, behind or delayed or, late or, I don't know, missing something, but it's like, what? I mean, I sort of I watched all the movies, played all the games, except for the first one, because it's like, you couldn't even touch the ground in the first, but, I don't know, I mean, wait, no, it doesn't even matter in the first, I think, the only thing that really matters would be the Spider-Man 3, because that's, I believe, the introduction to him, so I mean, I don't know, unless there's some bloody, like, history way back, but, like, I don't know when, but I don't know, I mean, something I kind of would like to, if you would know, I would love to, I may have to search it up too, but if I get corrected and, told about this, and that'd be interesting, that'd be cool, I guess.
Oh yeah, that blind guy gave me his card in case Spider-Man ever needs a lawyer. Wait, hold on. If he's blind, How did he know I was Spider-Man?
Oh. Maybe he can tell the, I don't know, voice to be... Your voice is similar, maybe? Who knows? Nelson and Murdoch, attorneys at law. Voice? Yeah, same numbers. 555-1902. 0192. 555-0193. Ooh. 211 West, 47th Street, Suite 316. Ooh. Oh, yes. New York, New York. 119. Or 10,019, whatever. Okay. And that is that. Finally, I don't know. I thought that would take like a lot longer than it should have. So, don't need to go through this. Already did this. Listened to that way too long. Too much. Yeah, that was okay, I guess. Newspapers is really... You know, the thing is, it's like, this is relatively useless. But, I mean... Kingpin knocked down. Off the streets into homes. Your tax dollars not at work. Okay. End of Fisk. Disorganized crime. Kingpin down. Feast wins. Surveillance towers. I just didn't know, like, I was reading the other title as well. Art Attack. Art Attack. Okay. Big Shock. Big Shock. Big Shack. What campaign? What campaign? Gang More. Chance of Crane. 100% chance of Crane. Oh, yes. Okay. Sorry. Cowards. The Cavalry. High Rise Horror. Oh, yes. Crisis on Campus. Tombstone Buried. Wait, what? Drug Lord Lincoln. Okay, never mind. Whatever. Security versus Freedom. Ooh. That looks pretty sexy. Oh, yes. Like, I like that face. Like that. That's some devil stuff right there. I guess, or something. I don't know. Urban Warfare. Train Terror. Terror on the Tracks. Ooh. It's just weird because the thing is, I believe, if I recall, I've only collected like roughly around 3, maybe maximum 4 or 5 of newspapers around New York City through the entire game, the entire map. Haven't bothered to actually go through because obviously there's no trophy and it's really not a big deal. And somehow, I believe I have all the newspapers. There's 43. And I sort of I have not collected like that many. There's like maybe 4 or 5 max. And then somehow I'm like going through like a bunch of these, finding it. Like, I mean, I guess it just still went on no matter what. But okay, Quarantine. And I know I'm going kind of quick, but if you want, you can, pause and check out the pictures, just because it's like there's nothing to read, so it's just a click and move on. The Sinister 6, the Sinister 6. I'm sorry, Mr. Negativito. Scorpion, Rhino, Vulture, Octopussy, and Electros. I almost somehow forgot their names. Prison Escapish. There goes the neighborhood. High Voltage. Shock to the heart. And you're too late. You give love a bad name. Sorry. Okay. Blue Voltage. Code Red. I really miss Mountain Dew's Code Red. I can't believe I was gonna say discontinued. I know that's a bit odd. Like, so what the hell? How did I go from that? Just High Voltage, Blue Voltage, and I mean, I don't know 100% if they discontinued it. I'm pissed off about that, but it's just like I never see it anymore. It's like, oh my god, this is scary, because that was like those Blue Voltage and Code Red were super good. Oh my god. So addicting, and now it's gone. It's like, dude, what the hell is wrong with you? Like, oh my god, what the hell's wrong with you people? How can you do that to me? Big game hunt. Yeah, Spider-Man nets, Rhino and Scorpion. Threat or menace. I'm the best around, best there is, the best was, and best there ever will be. Not just because of Bret Hart, but, you know, Yarp. Okay, who is the octopus? A new villain? Cured. Oh, that's the unfortunate part of, yeah, okay. And that was also around the glitchiest ending of all time. Jesus Christ. High art crimes. Street fighting. Fighting. Deadly family feud. 9 lives. And counting. Black Cat eludes. Spider-Man eludes. Money. Or funny money. Hammerhead's counterfeit up exposed. Almost there. Did not destruction. Okay. Oh, that's pretty nice and sexy. High-tech hijack. Sanitarium massacre. Locked up tight. Sweet cheeks, cups of care remain and Cybertech. Great. Taken at the theater. Hammerhead snatches magia dance. When will it end? Hammerhead destroys police lockup hideout. Hammerhead's hideout. Spider-Man finds magia boss in the ground layer. Terror on tower. Downtown debacle. She's back. Silver Sable returns. She's a backer. Out of control. Yeri want a baby. Goes roguish. Son of bitch. Bar no more. Body hang out. Smashed. Down and out. Sable and Spider-Man make the city safe again. Now, I don't know how necessary that was. I don't know how useful to go through these newspapers was. But I would say I'm done with the goddamn collections. Now, no. Useless. Everything is so useless. Benchmarks. Just, I guess, more useless stuff, or just stuff that I don't know, these are like traits. Oh yes, this is the 100% the fun part of all time. Can't wait for this. Yet again, it's not too entirely bad, so that shouldn't be, okay, yeah, that should be okay to do. I'm sorry, I had to make this dramatic in some sort of, I guess, okay. Peter Parker, Spider-Man, info. Height 5'10", weight 167 pounds, age 23, place of birth. Where do spiders come from? Space. Forest Hills, New York. Occupation research assistant. Eliasis. Friendly neighborhood Spider-Man. Whip hid, whip slinger. Okay, so that's just like nicknames for the person. Okay. I guess, or some bloody thing what people would call you. Great, awesome, whatever. Next up, Mary Jane Watson. Build at height 5'8", weighs 120 pounds. God, she's like a feather. Jesus Christ, and so I don't know about Spider-Man, maybe, but she's 23 years old. Place of birth, born in Montour, Seville, PA. She's a reporter, and people call her MJ. Oh shit! I forgot about that. Oh god. You could just pause it. I'm sorry. I mean, I'll just give the effort I can, but I don't want to be on here for 15 years reading some everyone's bio. Read and weep if you wish. Wilson Fisk, Kingpin. I don't know why, but it just seems right for me to read it like this. Billed at 6'7". He's 450,000 pounds. He's just about 50 years old. He looks pretty swell for 50. I know, 48, whatever. He is born in the goddamn galaxy somewhere. He just kind of flew in here, and it was just, it just happened. He's the CEO of Fisk Industries, criminal mastermind, kingpin of crime. Awesome. Sorry, I do kind of want to read it, but I really don't believe I have the best time for that. Yuri Watanabe, build at 5'9", 130 pounds, 35, 40. Oh my god, no wonder why no one wants to have their kids. Oh, wait, what? I just remember that at the end of the game too. It's just like, her grandmother is complaining about not having grandkids. It's like, well, I mean, holy shit. I mean, she's looking pretty, youngish for 40, but oh my Christ. Astoria, New York. Captain New York Police. Best bud. Okay. Anyways, Otto Octavius. I'm not trying to, offend anybody. I mean, honestly, I'm not. He's 5'9", it's just about 6. Oh my god. 245 pounds. He's a heavy little bitch. Heavy little one as he's tall. Anyways, okay. 63. God, he's ancient, whatever. Okay. He's the old fart. Oh my god. Schenectady, New York. Oh my Christ. I'm not too sure about some of these places. Scientist, because of Peter, and Doc. That's it. May Parker. She's short, 5'5", 110 pounds. I could throw her around, no problem. 66. For that, she looks pretty swell. Like, no gray hair or anything. Oh my god. Berkeley, New York. Operations manager at Feast and Aunt May. Okay. Martin Lee, asshole. 5'11", 180 pounds. He's 40. Dali, China. Don't know if I pronounced that right. CEO at Feast. Aunt May's boss. Norman Osborn. 5'11", 185 pounds. 58. Hartford, Connecticut. Mayor, New York. CEO Oscorp. Mr. Mayor. Herman Schultz. Schocker. 5'9", 06, 175 pounds, 42. New York City, New York. Occupation, professional thief. Holy Christ. And no nickname. Herman Schultz or Shocker could be one of them. But, or a ripoff of Iron Man or some other hero. Or whatever villain. A professional thievery is a job. I would love to take that. Jefferson Davis, he's 5'10", 145 pounds, 44. New York City, New York. Police Officer Davis Jeff. Miles Morales, 5'8", 6, 130 pounds, 15. Brooklyn, New York. Student, and no one calls him anything. Height 5'7", almost 6, 120 pounds. 120 pounds, 41, New York City, New York. She's a teacher. No one calls her anything. Silver Sablinova. Okay, Silver Sable. 5'5", she's short, 125 pounds, 36, Simkarian. Whatnot, okay, whatever. CEO, Sable International, and no one calls her anything. Okay, I mean, she looks pretty decent. Like, I thought she was, like, Russian for some reason at first. Don't worry. Don't have to, check on that. I make sure I, stop it when I have to. Anyways. Lonnie Lincoln / Tombstone. He's 6'7", almost 7. Oh my god. Almost 7 feet. He's like 385 pounds, almost 400 pounds. Oh my god. He's 39, almost 40. Oh my god. Jesus H. Christ. I'm surprised I don't have the date of the month of the birth date for all these people. Harlem, New York. He's a free agent. Doesn't have a job. What a loser. The pale one. Oh my god. I was gonna go with crack. Okay. I mean, no, because before I actually beat the hell out of this guy, it was Ghost Rider is the second one, because that's when he takes the chains and just rips it on fire and whatnot, and then goes to town. But yeah, okay, the pale one, crackhead or Ghost Rider, I'm just gonna go with that. But no, it's just because one of his men just inhaled a bunch of sugar or whatever. But anyways, oh man, Tombstone, this freaking guy, yeah, he's got a hell of a bio. So enjoy reading if you wish. Dr. Morgan Michaels. He's 5'10", 170 pounds, 52. Yeah, see, but people around his age, or maybe, either a bit younger or relatively more older, there's no gray hair on anybody. I mean, I get it, they dye their hair or whatever, but it's I don't know, everybody seems to be kind of, they look pretty decent, yeah, okay. I was gonna say Fisk, but he's got no hair. That's probably what, I don't know. Okay, Neola Loa. Oh my, sounds like a nice place. GR27 Project Lead Oscorp, and no one calls him anything. It could be Doctor, but okay. Mac Gargan? Right, okay, that's what Otto was saying. Scorpion. He's 6'3", oh my. 220 pounds. 35. Yonkers, New York. Gun for hire, oh my. No one calls him anything. Again, well, maybe Scorpion, but I guess not. Faster, right? Oh yeah. Sorry, just making sure I didn't miss something, or whatever. A little bit of whatever. A little bit of a sentence, or a couple of rows or whatever. Okay, anyways. Alexei Stasevich. Oh my god. Stasevich. I'm just gonna put it like that. My bad if I put it wrong. Okay, Rhino. Oh my Jesus, I'm gonna get to that in a second. I'm sorry, I just saw that. 7'5", almost 8 feet. Jesus, that's pretty, that is a pretty big dude, so yeah, okay. 710 pounds. I would like to see, that'd be crazy for somebody to be 1,000 pounds. 41. Irkutsk, Russia. Okay, my bad if I put that wrong too. Ex-mob enforcer, Santa Claus as well. It's just I can't believe that's what people call him. Jesus, what was it? I think I may have heard something like that before, earlier on in the playthrough. I can't remember what it was, but anyways, okay. Max Dillon, Electro, 5'11", 165 pounds, he's 40. Endicott, New York, professional criminal, oh my god. And Sparky. A living electrical capacitor capable of generating electrostatic of energy of roughly 1,000 volts per minute, able to store upwards to 1,000,000 volts. Jesus H. Crikey, bruv. Adrian Toombs Vulture. 5'11", 175 pounds, 76. He's an old bastard. I think he's like the oldest one in the game. I want to say that's kind of crazy. He's still moving around like that. That's kind of crazy shit. Staten Island, New York City, former electronics engineer, and no nickname. Shabayo. Mr. Negative. Mr. Lee. Even though I guess that was right here, right? Martin Lee. Okay, Mr. Lee, whatever. Mr. Negative. 5'11", 100. I was going to say 4 pounds. 180 pounds, 40. Dali, China. Terrorist. Oh my God. Why, man? Oh my Jesus H. That's crazy. Martin Lee. That's it. Just another. That's it. 5'9", just about 6, 245 pounds. That's heavy. That's a heavy bastard. I guess with all the equipment on, or just himself. He's 63. He's doing pretty decent for 63. Jesus. Schenectady, New York. I'm not sure if I put that right. Criminal Mastermind. Doc Ock, Otto Octavius. And as I always like to put him as Octopussy, because he's just a little bitch sometimes or something. Okay. Bio. Taskmaster. He's 6'2", 220 pounds. He's just straight up a machine. You know, everybody's old but doing pretty good, so I'm gonna say this guy's like 100 years old. Birthplace, somewhere in space. That sounds... See what I did there? That was pretty good. Overzealous spider okay. That mystery guy. Yeah, okay, I see that. And Black Cats. 5'10", 150 pounds. She, I would say, oh, well, she is just straight up gray, white hair. 100,000 years old, but she's looking pretty sexy as well. I would love to just destroy her. I think anybody would. Flushing, New York. Occupation. Cat burglar. Stealing burgers for herself. And Felicia Hardy and boners for men. That's what they forgot to add. But at the same time, I'll add that. And last, finally, Christ almighty, but not bloodily. Okay, whatever. 6'5", 290 pounds, almost 300, damn. Russia? Really? Son of a bitch, that's not something I would have guessed. I have no idea, but I would not have thought he was from Russia. Crime boss, Joseph Mr. H. Triple H. I see. Anyways, whatever. Finally, Jesus Christ, that's right. Oh. I know it's it, but, okay. Out of the characters, yeah, holy shit, that took me quite forever. And now I'm going to move into the heist and see if there's anything else. Like, for, you know, I just thought of it, because it's like, I have a DLC, or obviously, since I have the season pass for this and whatnot, it's like, for me having this, I'm not too sure, because Black Cat only, like, makes her appearance in the first one, and whatnot. So, I mean, if I didn't have the DLCs for this, I'm just kind of curious if Black Cat and or Hammerhead would still show up in the characters for bios and whatnot, you know what I mean, kind of thing. Like, if I didn't have the DLCs, they wouldn't be there, but now I have the DLCs, so they are there, kind of thing. I don't know. I don't know if I'm gonna find out. It's not a big deal, but yeah. So I'm gonna go to the DLC now, through the heist, turf forts, and the Silverliner. I'm gonna go through all three of them and see if I've missed any extra for some reason, characters or some collections or audios or whatever it may be. Now, otherwise, if I've caught up on everything possible for extra side stuff and whatnot, then the only thing I have left to really, continue with is just these side missions and extra gameplay I have that I didn't have time to throw in for the credits and whatnot. So that's what this is for. So let's check it out, I guess.